Chase DeLauder coming up huge.
Bases loaded, one out, 2-2 pitch, line drive, left field, slicing. Matthews on the run, can't get it! Into the corner it goes! Everybody will score! DeLauder races to third, it's a 3-run triple, and Cleveland has the lead.
That Kersey Guardians TV, good guys end up winning at 8-5. They score 6 times in that 8th. Meanwhile, Parker Messick got the start last night, goes 5 innings, allowed 3 runs on 6 base hits. Shador Sanders and Deshaun Watson each got first-team reps on Tuesday as voluntary veterans minicamp got underway in Berea. The minicamp is set to continue today as the Browns also get ready for tomorrow night's draft in Pittsburgh. There's a chance the Browns could draft another quarterback to add to the mix this offseason. Cavaliers back to practice later on this morning before heading up to Toronto. Cavs going to play the Raptors in Game 3 tomorrow night. They lead the series 2-0 after Monday night's 115-105 victory at Rocket Arena. Cavs led by Donovan Mitchell. He put in 30. Cavs with a 12-game playoff winning streak against Toronto dating back to 2016. NBA playoffs first-round action last night in East Philadelphia. Wins in Boston, 111-97. VJ Edgecombe, double-double, 30 points, 10 rebounds. Tyrese Maxey added 29 points. That series tied at 1 game apiece. In the Western Conference, Portland wins in San Antonio, 106-103. Scoot Henderson, 31 points. The Blazers rallied from 14 down in the fourth quarter for the win. They even up the series. Spurs lacking Victor Wembanyama. He suffered a concussion in the second quarter. Lakers last night beat the Rockets, 101-94. LeBron James, 28 points. Marcus Smart added 25. Lakers lead that series 2-0. Don't miss this week's episode of 92.3 The Fan's off-season special. Get the latest on the Browns tonight from 7 to 9. Can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next, time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
Baseball, basketball, and the Browns. It's why you need the afternoon drive. Weekdays starting at 2. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Line drive into center field, base hit. Around third, coming home to score is Daniel Schneeman. It's a 1-run game, and Rocchio continues to rip. Bases loaded, 1 out, 2-2 pitch. Line drive, left field, slicing. Matthews on the run, can't get it! Into the corner it goes! Everybody will score! DeLauder races to third, it's a 3-run triple, and Cleveland has the lead. And a base hit to right field for Manzardo. 2 more will come home. DeLauder and Jose score, and it's 8-4 Guardians. And the 3-2, got him. Book it. He went right at him with a fastball and said, here it is. Good night. And the Guardians win it by a final score of 8-5 to even the series at a game apiece.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of Guardians TV. Oh, what a win. Needed that. Oh, I know. They only lost to Houston once. They needed it. They needed it. I was in the truck. Everything's fine. I get out. I go pick up my son at track. I know he runs track. Obviously, he is my wife's son. And then we get back, and it's 3-2, and I'm sick to my stomach. And then, this is why part of the reason I love Chase DeLauder. It helps me win arguments. Well, I'm happy the Guardians won, and I'm happy he breaking out of a little bit of a slump, but I kind of want to argue that it's even a slump, and I'll tell you why coming up in a second.
How did you win an argument?
Oh, I wasn't worried about. I said I was more worried about Slade Ciccone, wasn't I?
Did John?
I'm not worried. I wasn't worried about Chase DeLauder.
Yeah, was the argument
how did you win?
How did I not win the argument?
Chase DeLauder was the reason they won. I said he was more important. You said you were way more concerned
You
about
told me
Ciccone.
you said I should have been. You asked me at the beginning of that. You talked about the worry over Chase DeLauder, and I said I'm more worried about Slade Ciccone. And you said, well, Chase DeLauder's more important. I go, one's a 5th starter. The other guy's a rookie. He'll pull out of it. It'll be fine. That's what I said.
Who they desperately need, though.
Get John down here. I hate talking to the Wizard of Oz up
John's
there.
moving.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so you should ask, which is more alarming right now of the two? Is it the
Slade
drought?
Ciccone.
No. Is it the drought from DeLauder, or is it Ciccone?
You're nuts.
The
It's
one
Chase
starter
DeLauder.
that's truly
How's Chase
struggling.
DeLauder more concerning?
It's way because Ciccone's your 5th starter. Chase DeLauder is your 2-hitter.
I know you're from a big market and you're a fan of a big market team, John. Let me tell you about how important starting pitching is, and even the fifth starter's got to be important too.
John, does he need a slump buster?
Yeah, Chase. Yeah, you love to see a couple of doubles, maybe a bomb here and there.
I agree with John.
How about a triple?
Scoreboard. How dare you?
Yeah, it's like 100-1.
Who do you agree with?
I would need to see Chase get going here.
So I'm going to take my win.
I don't know.
You
It's a win.
You didn't win.
How did I win? I had everybody on the internet tell me yesterday I won the argument. How did I not win when I had everybody saying I won the argument? What?
Right.
That definitely means that you won, right? Because people on the internet said you won.
You were the one who started responding to people saying that you were right.
One person.
You started responding to people saying that you were right. I wanted to make sure that you saw it. How did I not win? How did I win? One was more. Oh, okay. Who are you more concerned with this morning then, John? Are you more concerned with Chase DeLauder or are you more concerned with Slade Ciccone?
I'm still more concerned with Chase DeLauder.
That's
It's
asinine.
one hit.
Yeah, that's asinine.
He had one hit.
He had
It was
one
a great
hit.
hit.
It was a
He had
great
one
hit.
hit.
He's
three-run
one of his last
in the
26.
clutch.
That the guy that was playing left field, if
So-
he dives 2 feet further to the
What
left.
was that guy doing?
If Steven Kwan's in left field, that's probably a
See,
catch.
this is why I
Well,
cannot.
it's definitely a catch. Kwan's out.
I cannot
We still
concern.
scored a run, though, right?
yeah.
We still would have scored a run.
Yeah, he would have kept the ball
tied
in
it up.
front of him at the very least.
I know John, according to what he said to Anthony Allant the other day, thinks he's Vin Scully.
Okay.
But I need to speak to seam heads here, and I can't concern myself with non-seam heads.
I
This
went to a
year,
better broadcasting school than you did. I don't throw that out left and right.
well, that was a nasty comment by Anthony Allant. I got to tell you, it's must listen to on Sundays. Chase DeLauder walked yesterday. You know how many walks Chase DeLauder has on this season?
He has 12 walks.
And how many strikeouts does he
He
have?
has 11 strikeouts.
So it's not like he's going up there taking hell hacks and guessing now, is he? That's why I was less concerned about Chase DeLauder than I am Slade Ciccone. Pitching is very important here. Chase DeLauder's just a rookie. I understand he's in the two-hole. Maybe relax a little bit, because if you keep a little bit of confidence in the young man, he comes through in the clutch, and we beat the Houston Astros last night, and we're 14-11, and I just want to make sure here before I go shooting my mouth off, because I'm feeling pretty damn good about myself. Yeah, we are still atop the AL Central by 1 game.
It's
Second best
easy to feel good about yourself when you just make up the narrative that like, anything I say, I'm right on.
I didn't make
That's
up
what you
anything.
did.
I know.
That's
I'm
what
not.
you're doing right now.
I'm right on very little, actually. You guys loved it, but I'm going to take my champion's
And
pose.
Add this to the tally
That's-
of being
hey,
right on very little.
That's okay, but I'm right about this. We had a whole argument about who we're more concerned with, and I was less concerned with Chase DeLauder, and he made me look great last night. So yeah, I'm going to take my little victory here. I can't say it's a home run. It's a long season, but I'll take my trot to
You're
first
not
base.
getting the triple that he got either.
I'll stretch over at first base. We're getting ready to go to second. I'm feeling good about Chase DeLauder.
Now, when is
they're
he-
bringing in a courtesy runner for you.
Oh yeah,
buddy, boy.
it's true.
They're getting Axel out of track practice and getting his ass on the base
They'll
pad.
make it at 90 feet quicker than I will. I'll tell you that.
Now, when is he going to hit his next home run? Because you got to go back to April 3rd for the last time he hit one out of the park.
Oh, he's due.
Are you concerned about the home run drought?
It's April 22nd.
Are you more
Happy
concerned?
birthday, John
Let me
Waters,
ask.
by the way.
Let me
Finally.
ask. Let's see it once and for all. Are you more concerned about Chase DeLauder's home run drought or Ciccone's struggles?
I'm much more concerned about
I
Ciccone's
don't
struggles.
understand how you're so concerned about
Because
the 5-star.
one guy carries a can of gas with him to the pitcher's mound every time he goes out there. So clearly I'm more nervous about him, because I'll stress it again. Starting pitching on a mid to small market baseball team is that much more important than a lineup.
That's fine, but it's not Gavin Williams or Tanner Bybee. It's Slade Ciccone.
I understand.
Well, see, John,
I get it. I understand
that's
the
where
difference
you may
between
not
the people.
be used to. Here's where I got to side with Ken. That's where you may not be used to how we've just always had a card to play, it seems, over the years.
Yes.
At the road. It's weird for us to have a guy that right now almost seems like a guaranteed loss.
Exactly.
That's atypical for this rotation.
I mean, the Phillies have had Taijuan Walker, who's a scheduled loss every time he comes around for the last 4 years, but like it's your fifth starter. He's not going to pitch in the playoffs, and if he is, he's going to pitch in blowouts.
Social media reactions brought to you by
Shivan Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
NWO Skater, New World Order Skater. He says, sorry, Lima. I don't even think you disagreed with me, but it says, sorry, Lima. Ken won the argument. There you go. Boom. The internet said it's got to be true. Listen, I'm wrong on a lot of things. I got
Where's the
a card.
NWO been for the last 25 years?
I got a card. Hey, it's for
They made
life,
one.
brother. It's for life.
They made one company.
It's blood in, blood
And
out.
they put Shawn Michaels in it.
I just want to show you. Speaking of, I got gifts for shooting my mouth off.
I saw this.
This is from Brian Bosch, who is the Michigan radio play-by-play guy, who wrote me a nice letter and gave me confetti from the floor when they won the national championship because I got roped into an early show conversation that Keith was licking his chops and could not make the video fast enough because I happened to say that Ohio State had a better season than Michigan, which was incorrect and wrong, and I don't know how I got roped into saying it, but I'm an excitable boy, and I actually got a fine card that I'm going to keep forever from Michigan.
You got to tape some of the confetti down.
No. The confetti is going to be a gift for a young man who takes it a lot more seriously than I do.
That was very nice of you.
But the card, because it's addressed to me, stays with me because it's a nice card. And it's very well written and
normally
very nice.
It would just blend in with a lot of the maize and blue that Ken owns.
I don't own any maize. Actually, I do own.
As a devout Michigan fan.
The colors of Streetsboro, actually, I wouldn't say maize and blue, but they're gold and blue.
I think he moved to Streetsboro to get away with being able to rock the maize and blue.
Actually, I lived in North Ridgeville before.
I read it online, so it has to be true.
Yeah, and who perpetuates lies and falsehoods? But you know what,
Ken Carman?
I do not, because you know what happened yesterday?
Perpetuator number one.
You know what happened yesterday? I can't make it up that Chase DeLauder hit the triple that put us ahead, and we ended up winning the baseball game, and now we're 14-11. And I know Keith's calling in right now, but John can't answer the phone call because John's over here because I wanted him to look me in the eye, dead in the hairy eyeball.
You know it's him.
I know it's him. He's on the hotline. What are you going to do to knock me down a peg or two? I'm sure you'll do anything you can.
He's a great friend, so I've just got to correct you. I know you've had a really tough time with last names over the last
I know. I knew I was saying it wrong. I knew it.
It's Brian Bush. Brian's a great friend. He's a listener, Brian Bush.
Brian, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you completely botched that.
Yeah, well.
At least it wasn't Doug Karsh.
I mean, you are one of the only people I know that could say you win an argument when it's like 4-1 right now in terms of people on the show.
I didn't win. So wait a minute. You're more concerned about Chase DeLauder than you are Slade Ciccone?
I wouldn't use the word concern, but yes.
No. That's the word. That's the word your employee over here used. That's the word he used.
If you use that word, then that's fine. But
we can't switch around words in arguments.
About a guy in the everyday lineup as opposed to a guy that's taking the mound every 6th day or every 5th day.
Because I need him more.
John pointed out that's not even going to be a factor in the playoffs because you're just going to bring somebody else up.
And that's perfectly fine.
That's a good point.
But I need him to get to the playoffs because it's probably going to be pretty competitive.
Ken, who changes the Guardian ceiling more?
Who changes the floor more? I can't have a guy who's carrying a can of gas out every single day.
They have the second best record in baseball.
Yes,
all right,
yes, you can because that guy can still win 8 to 10 games for you, having a 4.5 or 5 ERA.
Let me ask the people that matter.
Your hitting matters way more for this team.
Let me ask the people that matter. And the word he used was concerned. Who are you more concerned about?
Sounds like a lot of other people that want to count up votes and then say, "Hey, that didn't count."
Are you more concerned with? That was an odd statement to say, considering it's not Friday at 9:45. You're supposed to be the responsible one in this business. I just want to ask the people who count, the people that matter, the listeners. Who are you more? They use the word concerned with. Are you more concerned with Slade Ciccone? Or are you more concerned with the rookie that we're singing and throw his name in to country roads to?
And now there are going to be those people that say, hey, and it was a great hit. I'll give him credit last night. That was a great clutch hit.
It was.
But as they said, that was a terrible play by the left fielder, by the way.
I don't care.
As Owen and John mentioned. He took a terrible path to it. And then you've got to save extra bases. You can't be giving up extra bases in a situation like that.
You sound like Raptors fans complaining about the calls that James Harden got the other night.
My point is, you're going to skew it because fans are going to just look at that hit last night and be like, I'm not worried about him anymore. Well, yeah, look at the box scores for the last 2 weeks, and I'd still be a little bit concerned about it. Does not mean you're out of a slump. Even Jeff Thomas said it. Go back and grab the track in about 5-10
I'm glad that Jeff said it. I'm glad that Jeff said it.
So it's 5-1 now?
It's 5-1. Yep, it's 5-1.
It's the listeners that care. It's the listeners that agree with me. So I'll be wrong to all of you guys, you peons, you trash. But if the listeners are with me, I'm with the listeners, not you, the other ones, because I'll tell you this:
You're gonna
the
meet in the
listeners,
hallway.
the listeners matter. You said that yesterday. We can't do that. It's been done in this station once. There's just not enough room. Okay, they tried it before, and that's all I can
Like
say.
when earthquake and typhoon.
We can't end up in a meeting. I have to leave right after the show. I have to vote early because I'm going to be away during the voting on May 5th. So there's a lot of things that have to be done. But I think if you were to go on the street, which, man, that might be an idea to send John. Of course, he'll doctor the results and ask who are they more concerned with. Is it Slade Ciccone or Chase DeLauder? They're not going to be as concerned with Chase DeLauder. And I'm not as concerned with Chase DeLauder. Because, again, look at his approach to the plate. He's not up there swinging and guessing and God knows what. He's drawing walks. He got on base the other day. He got on base last night. He's doing fine. He's doing okay.
The important thing is Guardians' second best record in the American League. They actually won an early challenge. Amazing. We also...
Right about that.
I got to say now, it was somebody who was actually at Jason Lloyd's 25th work anniversary. Tom Hamilton on the call in the first inning said, all right, he's got a no-hitter through one inning. So that was hilarious.
Did he say that?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
You know,
I did not hear that. I did not hear that part.
I'm cutting right to the chase. Through three batters in one inning, it's a no-hitter.
What are you going to do? You going to say something to Tom Hamilton?
Oh, it's
no,
amazing.
You ain't going to say anything.
It's just absolutely amazing because
I'm
you
more concerned with Tom Hamilton than Slade Ciccone.
Ooh?
More concerned with Tom Hamilton.
Oh, I thought you called him Todd at
too.
first. I was
No,
like,
Tom.
who's Todd Hamilton?
All right. It's time for you to go back up front.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. The young Philadelphian is starting to show.
He's going to bump into that girl he complains about at the gym every day watching cable news and say, 6-1. She sided with me, 6-1.
Are you talking about Keith or me?
Yeah, Keith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said Jim, Ken.
Just want to make sure. I'm sorry. I was like, I that's why I thought he was confused with. I didn't know. I was like, who's he talking about?
I'm more concerned with you than Keith.
Going to no Gime.
And Jim's.
Going to happen. Big thanks to everybody who agreed with me yesterday. The Guardians won. Which, by the way, I know you mentioned how the Celtics lost before the show. And I know that that's hellish. Have you taken a look at some of the teams? I mean, first off, you go to the National League. They have lost 12 in a row, the Mets have. And it seems that Francisco Lindor is just the most miserable man who's ever made $35 million a year that we think we've ever seen.
If you were listening to the fan warm-up show, Jeff Thomas hit on that. It was
He's all over it.
What time did he hit on it?
Like 5:15-ish.
Oh, I was talking traffic patterns with the guy down the hallway.
And that's why you got to be dialed in to the warm-up show.
All hour of it.
The Royals, they won last night. They're 2-8 over their last 10. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't mean to give you the rundown. I mean, we say it a little bit facetiously that we're a game ahead. The Guardians are a game ahead. It is April 22nd.
I just can't ever
remember. Happy birthday again, John Waters' 80th birthday.
I can't remember an Astros team that was this bad to start. I know they got a ton of injuries.
They struggled last year at the beginning of the year.
That's
why
crazy.
I was happy we got them now because they started to climb out of the cellar by the time we got to them last year. So I want to get to them. I want to get to them as soon as I possibly can.
You know, it was really good.
What?
We survived the treacherous Bo Naylor experience, and that was good.
That was
good. You survived a hellish at bat in an important situation.
There's only one other team, the Twins, that are above 500, and that's just because they played the Mets last night. And the Mets are garbage.
But we have 2 more wins.
Doing okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I think A's in first place. Is that a typo?
No, the Athletics, who don't have a home, they are in first place.
It says Athletics.
Yeah.
Their home is in first place.
I want to make sure I had it right and it wasn't another peacock miscue on a graphic.
Judas Priest. I mean, I know baseball's doing better, but you got one team that doesn't have a home right now. 216-474-0092. It's in the words of The Office, and I want to say his real name, Brian Baumgartner, and I don't remember his actual name on the show. Kevin. It's nice to win one. Nice to win one every now and then. It's just nice. Coming up at 8 o'clock, Bob Haney going to join us on the show. Mo Egger going to join us on the show. Andrew Filipponi going to join us on the show. We go around the AFC North at 8 o'clock, and let this fun QB battle begin. That's in 5 minutes on The Fan.
we competing against ourselves because life is a long time. You get what I'm saying? Our time it's on God's time. You know, we just come in and every day put our deposits in and what we're supposed to do and build towards our craft. But it's not our time. If we thought we had control of anything, then we'll be fools. You know, that's not up to us. It's up to us to approach every day and take advantage of each and every rep and each and every time, even when players aren't, even when we're not in, being able to take advantage of those reps also. So it's not on our time.
Shador Sanders at voluntary workouts coming up at 8 o'clock around the AFC North. Bob Haney, Mo Egger, Andrew Filipponi, Charles Davis going to join us at 9 o'clock. NFL Network analyst. Join us on the show. Evan Mobley autographed jersey giveaway coming up at 9 o'clock. 216-474-0092. What'd you think of yesterday, what you saw?
I thought the big story, I know a lot was made of the conversations that were had, whether it was Monkin, whether it was Shador, who had a lot of interesting things to say, and the way he goes about, addressing the media and talking positivity and those good vibes. I thought the story yesterday, and maybe it's just because my mind did not allow myself to ever think we were going to see this again.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy to me seeing Deshaun Watson running around and seem to be testing, the surgically repaired legs, ankles, Achilles, everything, lower body, extremities. Like to see him just running around and looking like Deshaun Watson. I know it's practice. Yeah, that's what it is for 32 NFL teams. Not even really a practice, whatever you want to call it. Although, were they going live? Was there some live elements to yesterday's 7-on-7, 11-on-11?
I don't think they're allowed to go live.
But it was just something for whatever reason that
I'm sure a couple of guys ran into each other.
That I just assumed would never happen again. I never thought I'd see Deshaun Watson in a Browns uniform cutting, spinning, doing pirouettes, throwing the ball. I know that you'd probably be like, why didn't you expect to see that again? Just because I had erased it from my mind. I didn't think I'd ever see it again.
We were sitting there. Well, I mean, honestly, I can't blame you for that. I can't say you were silly or naive or anything. We're sitting here talking about insurance policy payouts last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're talking like Lloyd's of London, like it's Kurt Hennig or something like that. Like it was wild. So to say that you were surprised, you're not naive. I think some people are like, I can't believe we're still here with this. Can't believe we're still doing this. I just think the thing that I do disagree with some people, it's not about the money payoff. They're just, everything is different from where you're at in Cincinnati down there. Like Mike Brown would make him play it out because of the money. They don't care. They do not care about the money. They're looking at it from a position of they just don't want to take the cap hit. It's not about what they're paying him. They're just going to give him the crack at it just to see. And honestly, I think there's a lot of things that could come of it if he were to go out and play reasonably well this year. But there's also the competition issue of it. I want Shador Sanders. If it's the argument between the two, I want Shador Sanders to start. But I'm not going to sit there and deny better football. I think some people have gotten this mixed up. I'm not going to deny the better football player if the better football player deserves to play. Okay? So if Deshaun Watson goes out there and looks better, where like Shador had the 11-on-11 reps, then Deshaun had the 7-on-7 reps with Bajakian was the one who made the call, the quarterback coach, on who takes what reps, and I guess they're going to fluctuate and change that up according to what Todd Monkin had said yesterday after practice. If Deshaun Watson ends up starting, I'll accept it. I don't think it's this great story or anything like that because he's still got to go out there and he's still got to play. And also, I don't think a lot of fans want to see him. I don't. But I'm not going to make him out to be some evil villain or anything like that. I think the time has passed, and we're seeing whether or not he's got anything. All I think he represents is a lost era of Browns football that could have been a really great era of Browns football. Had people, and that includes the guy who used to be here, not talking about the head coach, by the way, the guy down in Tampa Bay, had everybody just calm their heads for a second and realize what was at stake here. Browns, Baker, coaching, everybody, we wouldn't have been in this mess. We wouldn't have been sitting here reading the comments to the Browns social media when they showed Deshaun Watson completing a pass and seeing the overwhelming negativity from the fan base.
Well, where my mind went to immediately after seeing that yesterday was, is this going to be a real uphill battle for Shador to unseat him?
I think it might very well be, and I'll tell you why in a second.
Because, you're right. You've been saying all along, Ty goes to the runner. Ty goes to the younger quarterback.
For me, not for them.
I think for most fans, right?
Yes.
Like it's Shador, and that makes sense. That's logical. Why, after we've ruined so many years, we have counted down the days to the end of Deshaun Watson. Now we're going to prolong it if Watson goes out there and plays even average football. Like, now we're going to sign him to an extension, and now we're not going to go back into the draft next year. Like, it just complicates things to such an extent where it makes sense for the tie to go to the runner.
No.
But what I'm saying is, how is Shador going to even get there to tie it? Because think of how monumentally tough this is going to be for Shador. You're physically not on the same level as Deshaun. We know that. Even Deshaun, after the surgeries and the injuries, like, I say his arm looked fine. I know, again, he's not playing against real defenses, but just in terms of zip on the ball, like, his arm looked fine.
We're doing the zip.
Okay. Oh, I saw a bunch of people.
We're doing the zip.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of people yesterday commenting on that, saying, whoa, Deshaun looks like that shoulder, which was the obviously the much earlier injury. His shoulder looked fine. So if he's able to do that, now we don't know, again, absorbing hits, and once he's out there on the field, it's a totally different animal. I get that. But a lot of this is going to be these settings and impressing the coaches. And then the other element of it that I continue to go back to is, how many offensive coordinators has Deshaun Watson had to learn from under, and how many different playbooks has he had to absorb that stuff, and in a quick amount of time every single offseason? So just by sheer nature of him being the more experienced guy who's been around the league a lot longer and had all those different coaches to have to learn from, like, that's just going to put him so far ahead. How is Shador going to eat away at that lead?
That's the issue. Because I think with the fans, I mean, I genuinely ask the fans, are you out on the Browns if they start Watson this year? I think a lot of fans might say yes right now. But I think a lot of fans, I don't think a lot of fans will come around. I think a lot of fans will just go, oh, God, here we go. Another year, maybe another wasted year. You'll watch because it's the Browns. It might be tradition. You might just be out on them earlier if they struggle with Deshaun Watson. I think for the fans, the tie goes to Shador. I think for me, and I'm a fan too, the tie goes to Shador. I think for ownership, the tie goes to Shador. If it's close, it goes to Shador. I don't think they want fans saying nasty things on their social media and sending in nasty messages and all those things about Deshaun Watson. I don't think they want to do that. But I think that Todd Monkin, you're not from here. This is your one crack. What are you going to do? Are you going to try to appease Kenny Carman on the radio and all the people that don't want to see Deshaun Watson because they want to see Shador? Really, I got to be honest with you, I don't think either one of these guys are going to be quarterback in 2027, so I can't get that passionate about it. But I think I'd rather see a guy have a chance like Shador Sanders than Deshaun Watson. But Tom Monkin don't care about Kenny Carman or Anthony Lima or Owen or John or any listener out there. He cares about his 52 other guys. And if he feels that Deshaun Watson is going to give them a better chance, then damn it, he's got to do it. And I got to tell you, I have to support that because he's supposed to be the football coach of the team. I may not want to see it, but I have to accept it. See, there's a difference. If Deshaun Watson goes out there and he looks like garbage, I could say Shador ain't any worse than this. This is hot garbage. But if he goes out there and conducts himself any bit decently, with any decency as a quarterback, I got to look at it and go, yeah, the football coach made the right football decision. It's something I might not like, but I don't know if I can disagree with. And you got to hear my words very clearly. I'm not there every single day. I'll be there as much as I possibly can. But I'm not there every single day. The fans aren't there every single day. I'm not in the meetings. I'm not in the private moments. I'm not there. Todd is. So if he sees that and he believes that Deshaun Watson has to do it, I have to accept it until Deshaun Watson goes out there and sucks up the room. And he has in the past, and there's nothing to tell me he won't right now. But I have to accept it until it is. And the only way I can go after Todd Monken on this is if Shador were to play after Deshaun and Shador were to look great. That's the only way I can do it. We are in a tough spot right now because I think, again, and people didn't want to hear this, if it were still the status quo, and I know that they don't want to hear it, and they still will never want to because they don't want to understand it. If Kevin were still head coach, you'd just go with Shador. It's the status quo. He just went with the flow on a lot of things. Nobody would be happy about it. It would be another lame duck year. It would be another uninspiring year, I have to admit, but he would just go with it. But now you have a coach that's in there, and it's this one crack. He's 60 years old. He is going to do what he believes is necessary to win football games and give him every chance.
And could it all
that
boil
probably
down?
means the veteran.
Could it all boil down to that joint practice against the Bills? Is that because we talk about like preseason games are a little weird,
it may
but
very well do it.
The joint practice is where it seems like we learn the most about our teams, our Browns team every year.
There you go. 216-474-0092. Would you be out on the Browns this year if they were to start Deshaun Watson? And Shador Sanders says, we need to get better vibes with our media. That coming up in a bit on The Fan.
and those affected by suicide. Walk to Remember, for hope, so no one feels alone. Details at afsp.org/LorraineCCC.
Make plans to join the most knowledgeable lineup in all of Cleveland media for NFL draft coverage.
The Cleveland Browns select.
We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
How much pressure's on Lamar Jackson as they begin the voluntary workouts? And where's Aaron Rodgers? It's much more important that Aaron Rodgers isn't in Pittsburgh than Myles Garrett isn't in Berea.
Isn't that a great storyline as they have the draft actually in Pittsburgh?
And he ain't talking to nobody over there. Will Howard right now is QB1, which we like Will Howard around these parts, so I'm not going to say that that's a fart.
But that's probably
we like Will Howard.
That's probably a 4-win football team.
Well, don't count out Will Howard now.
I will
That's
repeat
coming
myself.
from me.
That's probably a 4-win football team.
I think you're hoping that's a 4-win football team.
Hey, Mike Tomlin, they don't have him to rescue them anymore. He's going to be, jumping on with NBC?
Bob Haney, Mo Egger, Andrew Filipponi will go around the AFC North coming up at 8 o'clock. Here's Todd Monkin, the Monkin man. He was impressed by all the QBs yesterday.
Well, I thought they were in command. I never felt at one time like they were lost. I thought all the work they'd put in, the last couple of weeks leading up to today, Coach Pajakian did a great job with them, prepping them. Coach Baker, Ian, those guys with the quarterbacks to prep them. Everything from the meeting rooms, again, to the walks to here today. To me, that's the start of it. The start of it is how we function, how they lead. Is there a belief system in who has the ball in their hands every play?
Todd Monkin went on. He did explain, and this is key, and I want to play this for everybody. He did explain about the QB reps and Shador being up first and everything there. Listen closely.
He was first man up. I knew it was coming. Didn't know who was going to ask it, but I knew it was coming. We were just rotating who was first reps. Shador to start. There were some other reps. The way it was going to turn out, Shador was going to get more reps. Some of it in pass Kelly, some of it in team. A couple of the team periods were slowed down ACT, more run than they were throw. So it was set up in a way for us to get a look at all of them. The plan was to have Shador have a few more reps, but to let Deshaun and Shador both have reps with the ones. Each day we're going to change that to get a look at our guys. We had 3 days to get a great look at those guys, and it's awesome to be able to get these extra 3 days.
So it is a big deal for the QBs to be there. I know we made a big deal about other people and whether or not they should be there, and we'll talk about that.
Do you care, Kenny, how they divide the reps at all? This to me was so funny to see people get worked up about this. And I'm like, it's day one. You don't think they're going to level things out over time because they want to see both of these guys in every different scenario? This did not register to me as some big, outrageous, Shador is starting for, it actually looked like Deshaun might have gotten more. Like, guys, if you're going to be doing this day one, I don't think you're going to make it through the end of camp.
Anthony, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. This is all going to happen
The best was yesterday, Cam Justice. Cam Justice put up her world-famous compilations of every throw of both quarterbacks. She does such a terrific job, and I know everybody's doing their best to chart this and that. Cam put that out there, and she had to respond. She quote-tweeted one of the dudes was like, why are you only showing the good stuff for Deshaun and not that? I'm like, man, you guys aren't going to make it. You're not going to make this. Isn't for you. Your life and death by camp rep. You're not. I'm just warning all of you.
Get ready to go again.
You better see your cardiologist. I don't think you're going to make it through camp.
I'm struggling to admit something here. I want to talk to real Browns fans here, not the internet. Okay, I want to talk to the guy who's on 480. The lady who's leaving to get on 90 to go through construction, which she'll be going through for the next 10 years. You guys know what this. You guys know what this is probably going to be. I mean, we are going to sit here and we are going to chew the fat on this. And I'm not going to admit this often because I want them to win and I want to be passionate about it. Does anybody really think that either of these guys are going to be quarterback in 2027? Does anybody?
Yeah, I mean, if I had money that I was actually going to bet on it, I would not bet.
Exactly. Everything I want to do it with passion, and I don't want to go through motions. But man, it like I sit here and I look at this, and I'm starting to read the same old that we went through already last year. and we're going to do the whole counting reps, and people are going to, and we're going to do the completions and all that other crap that doesn't matter. And I'm telling you, I think that 90% of Browns fans out there who were Browns fans before and going to be Browns fans after are just sitting there going, yeah, get me to the draft next year. Because I think that they look at this as a giant, I don't want to call it a waste of time, but I don't know what else to call it. I think this is just a placeholder season until we get to the next quarterback. I hope I'm wrong. I want Shador to win the job because I want to see somebody that has a chance to be the future of this franchise. The other guy doesn't have a chance to be a future of this franchise. That's why, I don't want my time wasted. I don't want Browns fans' time wasted. If Shador goes out there, he might suck up the room, for crying out loud. There were a couple of silly passes last year, but at least he has a chance to be the future. The other guy has no chance to be the future. What are they going to do? They're going to sign him a great big deal? Are we going to put him back up on billboards and things like that? Do you believe he's going to play well? Because you got to believe he's going to play well enough to do those things. And if he does, you think he wants to be here? How many people think he wants to be here? Yeah, he likes it here. How many people?
I never see him here.
Bingo. Well, you saw him at the Cavs game.
I did. Yes, night. He was front
honestly,
and center.
I'm not trying to be nasty about it. Let's just go. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not even trying to push an agenda. I'm just being honest and asking questions. Like Shador, say what you want, and you guys have said a lot of things. He seems to genuinely like the people here. He seems to genuinely like it. So I'm going, if you can harness something with him and his talent, maybe you do have a crack at it. But if you go with the other guy, fans don't want to see him. He don't want to be here. And if he shows anything that's positive, I think that guy's going to try to get out of here on the first thing smoking. And so I got to say what I think is going to be worth it for the future of our fan base. And it's either A, the young guy, talking about Shador, not Dylan Gabriel, no offense. I know they said some things. I think probably it's best for all parties involved that he get traded. Give him a fresh start. It's been a rough place for him. I got nothing against the young man. But when it comes to Shador, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, see you at the draft next year. I don't know where it's at next year. See you at the draft next year. Because that's where we're at right now. But when it comes to Watson, it just brings up all the things of what could have been for this football team. That ain't it. And if he does do well, you know the conversation is going to be, well, are they going to sign him? Do you want to sign him? Do you trust him to be signed to another contract? Do you really want him? Or is he going to even want to sign a contract? And you know the rumors going to come out.
I'm trying to think of how well he would have to play and where in the ranking of NFL quarterbacks he would have to be by the numbers that I tend to obsess on. How high would he have to be? Would he have to be like the 6th or 7th best quarterback in the NFL for me to even begin to think about an extension?
Oh, yeah. I think he'd have to be easily top 5.
You have to be in the AFC Championship game to even talk about an extension.
That would probably
they're still going to ride that one last year of not having to pay him or pay him on a rookie scale.
Uh-huh.
You know what? Maybe he'll pull a Jose Ramirez. Maybe we'll get a hometown discount from Deshaun Watson.
You know what? He would definitely owe it to you now, wouldn't he? After everything that's been put out there.
He'd have to pay us money.
For all the fans.
That's the discount.
216-474-0092. No, I look at it and I go, guys, a lot of this has been set up to get us to 2027. A lot of this has been set up to get us to another draft class. And the only person that I think makes this season really truly, that has a chance to make this season really truly worthwhile would be number 2, formerly number 12. Because number 4 has its own set of circumstances there that we have to sit there and dissect, and there's innuendo. If the other guy plays and he plays well, I ain't got to worry about it. He'll play here in 2027. But if the other guy plays and plays well, talking about Deshaun, well, you got yourself a whole cornucopia of conversation now, don't you? And none of it's very positive. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we will go around the AFC North. We got people in here. We'll get to them. All right, what do you think? Who do you think the leader is in the clubhouse at quarterback? Who would be your leader at clubhouse and the quarterback? Don't think as a fan. Try to think it's Todd Monkin. And we got some media around here that needs some positivity. That coming up at 7:20 on The Fan. Friends, Ken Carman here for North.
20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Get primed for the Cavs playoffs on your ride home. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. Cleveland's Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
Eight o'clock, we'll go around the AFC North. 216-474-0092. 9 o'clock, we also have the great Charles Davis who's going to join us on the show. An Evan Mobley jersey giveaway coming up at 9 o'clock. So how would you feel if Shador ended up being or if Deshaun Watson ended up being the quarterback? Who do you think is the current leader in the clubhouse right now for QB? I would have to say, if you're a veteran coach or you're a first-time head coach, I think I want it to be that way. I think the majority of the fans want it to be that way. I think that the ownership wants it to be that way, where if it's close, it would go to Shador. But the head coach is the head coach, and if they really are empowering the head coach the way they say they are, I cannot say I'd be surprised. And I guess I need to soften the blow for a lot of folks that it's probably going to end up being, I would imagine it's going to be Deshaun Watson. He's got more experience. He has certainly played. Now, it's been 6 years for crying out loud, but he has certainly played at a higher level in the NFL. Shador hasn't got a chance to show a lot, but Deshaun has the experience. And I don't think it's over if they were to just start Deshaun with the season and Shador was to be the backup. I don't think it's just over for Shador. I think you said it, or maybe because I know that you had high school basketball on TV a couple of times for the state championships. It might have been a Phil and Owen. I don't know if you remember. It might have been, I don't want to put it on anybody else. I kind of want to see if Lima might have said it. Did you say it might be over for Shador if Deshaun starts the season in Cleveland? Was it you or was it somebody else here on the Fan I was working with?
If and it's hard to believe right now as we're sitting here on April 22nd, but what I said was if Shador gets out there and struggles, like let's say he wins the job, but they start out like 1-5 because it's a new offense, new offensive line, no continuity, a lot of moving parts. That we're used to typically poor starts by the Browns. It's going to be hard for Shador because he was a 5th-round pick.
Yeah,
and all these teams passed on him the first time around.
So I can understand that. I'm thinking if he did not start the season, so it wasn't you, because somebody said they thought it was over for Shador. One of the people who were in for you said that they thought it was over for Shador if Deshaun started the season. I didn't agree with that because I said if you're Todd Monkin, you could look at it and go, hey, you might have started before you were ready.
Kenny, I could make the argument it's better for him because...
I'm not going to argue it's better, but I can certainly argue you can make it.
Let's say it's Deshaun Watson that does the 1-5 to start out the year. And then Shador comes in. He's had all that time to sit there and watch and hopefully work on all those things and master the playbook, and then comes in kind of midstream. Maybe that offensive line is starting to finally gel. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That could be a best-case scenario for Shador. I know it would suck for his fans that he's front and center, and now he's been relegated to the background again, and you're going to go after the Browns in every which way and go after Todd Monkin, and now he's the enemy, and everybody's the enemy because they didn't pick Shador. But I'm just saying for Shador specifically, that might actually be a much better setup.
I don't think Todd Monkin has it in for Shador or anything like that. I would look at it, and I think that I don't know if it's going to be better for him or anything like that. It'd be interesting to see how he responds to not being the starter if they were to go with Deshaun Watson. But I think you could easily explain and say, hey, you might not have been ready to do it last year. There's some things that are different with this offense now. I don't want you to get swallowed up here. We got a veteran here who has experience in multiple offenses. We're going to go ahead. We're going to start the season with him. But I want you to be ready, because if he can't do it, we got to put our trust into you. That's the way I would do it if I were Todd Monkin, if I had to make that decision. Because I can't have Shador Sanders going south on me. We got to get through the season. We got to try to win a lot of football games, as many as we possibly can. It's going to be a tough task. It's going to be an uphill battle, guys. They can be better than what they were last year, but it's still going to be a difficult thing to be that much better than what they were last year. It starts on Thursday, obviously, but there's a lot of things that they got to get to when it comes to this season. So I think that if you started Shador and it didn't go well, yeah, that would probably be more likely to be quote-unquote it for Shador in Cleveland. But if you were to start the season with Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson goes out and does a lot of what he's done in the past year, which is mess up and the team lose football games, then yeah, you could have your crack at Shador, but you want to make sure that he's working towards still that goal of being a starter here. And we could have ourselves almost the same discussions of what we're having next year. But I just look at it and I say, man, so much of this looks like it's set up, and especially with all these rumors that keep going out about 95 and whether or not he wants to be here. Like, I get so upset about it at times, but I can't sit here and deny it every single day. The reworking with the contract, all that post-June 1st stuff, that this draft is not that great. I mean, good God, if they were to do something crazy and move on from him after June or after the 1st of June, like, you'd have to look at it and go, guys, this is all dead in the water. This is all dead in the water. You know what this is about. And that would be a knock on Deshaun, and that would certainly be a knock on Shador. They would have to pick themselves up and dust themselves off. And if any of them could show something, they're really showing something, because that type of loss would be such a huge hit to the team, to the fan. The fans could start to look forward to the next year. It would be such a hit to the culture and what you're trying to do. Such a hit to this year. 216-474-0092. But I don't want to get ahead of myself right now. So it was only day one yesterday. There were goods and bads out of all of them. It was a little bit surreal to see him back out there, Deshaun Watson. I got to admit, it was surreal.
Kenny, it was just, and I want to be as fair as possible. Uh-huh. Like, this is more of a me thing that I guess if you were talking to me logically, like, yeah, Deshaun at the end of last year was getting healthier. In fact, I think he could have played at the end of last year, according to people I talked to. But there were a lot of moving parts surrounding that. And obviously, why wouldn't you just let Shador start, the rest of the games? It makes sense. It was kind of crazy to see him out there, because in my mind, I just thought we'd never see him again. And again, you were like, well, why did you think that? Before the show, you're like, why did you think that? I'm just like, just a mental trick. I just thought we'd never see him again.
Well, I didn't think it was crazy of you to say, because I really thought when he's carted off the field, he's in tears. There was definitely a reaction with some of the fans. There was definitely a reaction with the team, with the fans. I mean, somebody just tweeted out at me that they wouldn't be surprised if he gets booed in training camp. I was like, oh, gosh, we got to figure that out. I mean, so there's still hard feelings. And I'm going, man, I can't believe he's still here.
Honestly, I've seen more people than I expected that said they'd be open to it. I do think the more time that has
ultimately
elapsed,
people just want to win football games.
Yeah, it's not that they think he's going to win football games, but like,
they want the best chance at it.
All right, whatever. Like, I think people are kind of coming into the season going, it's most likely neither of these guys are the guy. So in the end, like, all right, let's get a chance to see both of them. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what I've seen from people. Now, most people are still hoping that would be Shador way over Deshaun. But I definitely see less animosity today. Doesn't mean there aren't people that are very vocal about, I'm giving up my season tickets, or I already gave up my season tickets. Certainly, I've seen that too. I'm just saying this is the most open I've seen a portion of the fan base.
Wayne in Cleveland, you're first up in the fan. Hello, Wayne.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
I'm doing well, Wayne. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Deshaun starting if that's the case. That's only, if Coach Monkin wants to win. Now, if he wants to win and Deshaun looks like he give us the best opportunity to win, then I think he should start. But,
it pains me to say it. It pains me to say it, Wayne, because I'm a conduit with the fans, right? I talk to the fans, and then you talk to the team.
Right.
But it pains me to mention this. And, Wayne, thank you very much for the call, because that's the first one in, and that's the first guy in about Deshaun Watson. But Wayne, I think, might be part of a maybe quiet minority there talking about Deshaun Watson, because I think that a lot of folks just want the head coach to make the decision. It might not be a decision I like. It might not. But, damn it, if they go the natural way where the head coach, and this is where Wayne's getting at, the head coach makes the decision who starts on the football team, I can disagree later if he goes out there and he sucks. But if you've let your head coach, who is usually the guy in charge, unless you're an inept franchise, if you let the head coach makes that decision on who starts for your football team, how can I rip that? How can I rip that? I guess I could say I think that by far that maybe Shador was better in camp, or people are going to look at all hocus pocus with the completions and the attempts and all that stuff that doesn't matter in camp, but they want to use it, fine. But honestly, like I don't think Todd Monken's going to be out there to make anybody mad. I think he's going to go out there and do what's best for his football team. I imagine if he were to pick Deshaun Watson, he's thought long and hard about this, and he's going to think that Deshaun Watson helps his football team win football games to start this season over Shador Sanders. How can I knock the guy for that? You let your head coach, you did what a functional franchise is supposed to do. I can't knock you for that. I don't like it, but I can understand the rationale behind it. 216-474-0092. Let me get to Courtney in Wichita, Kansas, real quick. Hello.
Hey, fellas, appreciate you. Real quick, man. I'm a Shador guy, but if it's a fair competition and Shador loses, I'm okay with that. I understand that. I would challenge Cleveland, don't get rid of Shador too soon, and go look at some rookie quarterbacks who had bad seasons. Lima always says Shador had a terrible season. Go look at Bernie Kosar's rookie season and tell me if the Browns would have gave up on him, what would have happened. Well, go look at Troy Aikman 0-11. Or go look at John Elway. And please don't say first round doesn't matter. A first round could be better than a fifth round.
Well, I'm not getting rid of him just this year. If he doesn't win, I'll tell you this, Court. If he don't win the job, I'm not getting rid of him this year. I'll keep him as a backup, absolutely.
Because I guarantee you, somebody's going to take it. Did you hear Sean Payton after the draft? What did he say about Shador? That kid's going to play in this league. That kid's got something to him. You showed a little bit last year. If you give up on him now, it's going to be probably where you might look like Seattle and the Jets and all them going, damn, we could have had him in. Don't do that. At least give him a fair chance. And if he loses.
Now, Paul, how many rookie quarterbacks do you say this about?
I'm saying, anybody. You go look at any rookie. Who thinks a rookie's going to be great right away? It's rare. You know why you know the rookies that do? Because it's rare. You go look. If Dallas gave up on Troy Aikman, who was 0-11, if Shador was 0-11, he wouldn't be on Cleveland this year. If he was 0-11 last year. Had Dallas done that, look where they would have been.
Corton, thank you very much for the call.
Look,
I'm not getting rid of the guy if he doesn't win the job this year. That ain't going to happen.
Logically, well, that'll be a debate for sure.
People will want to get rid of him. People will want him to be released who are Shador fans. But I'm not getting rid of him.
Logically, yes, that would be nice if every quarterback in the NFL got 5 years of a runway. We just know that jobs are at stake. That's just not how the world works, especially considering if they're bad this year, they will have an early pick next year. That early pick will come in with his team, right? His trainers, his PR and marketing behind him. They will have already made their NIL money.
Yep.
Will they want Shador? Not that Shador is a problem. Will they want everything else surrounding? Sure, we always said that with Tim Tebow. Like, do you really want Tim Tebow as your backup quarterback when his fan base is as loud and as populous as they are? And we found out over time, you can't have Tim Tebow as your backup.
Over time, but I could do it now. And I just think that it's going to be up to Deshaun Watson to play well enough.
Are they calling the coach every name in the book? Are they going after the coach and saying he's not giving that player an opportunity?
I understand that wholeheartedly.
Are they saying that coach is persuaded by skin color?
So what? Does he hate Shador Sanders that much? He's going to go out there and put a guy that fans openly boo?
We can't act like that wasn't part of the conversation.
It was part of the conversation last year. Deshaun Watson wasn't a part of the conversation last year.
I know that.
Now he is. So I think it's totally different from all that stuff. So, I mean, you could bring it up. And, the Tim Tebow history, that's part of it.
They say that about Colin Kaepernick.
I don't need to get rid of the guy.
They say that about every one of these famous quarterbacks when they are not starting. How does that work in the locker room? How does that work with everything that hovers around an organization?
That's not
and time again, what happens? The team gets rid of that quarterback.
That's not lost on me. But I also look at it and say this is a different situation than those ones. So if they considerably go out, I just have never seen a situation where a quarterback who might be the leader in the clubhouse to be the quarterback of this football team seems to be so universally disliked by the fan base. I mean, you would say, how many Browns fans are not fans of Deshaun Watson?
You're talking about Watson. I'm talking about the next year if they go into the draft to get a quarterback.
You'll probably move on from everybody going into the next year.
I thought you were agreeing with him.
No. I'm not getting rid of him this year.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
I must
have misheard him, okay, because he's going into year 2. If he doesn't start this year and he doesn't play this year,
he probably won't want to be here.
He'll probably go on in a different direction.
He probably won't
want to be here. That I'm sorry.
Because he will have been passed up. He will have been passed up at the start by all these different quarterbacks. I mean, last year he was 4th string to start out. Now, if another new coach and new coordinators and all that stuff, if they're like, no, you're not good enough here, and we're going to go draft another quarterback. Like, he won't want to be here.
Brother, that was about to get nasty there for a second. I'm glad we're on the same page. Everyone in the NBA is having problems except your Cleveland Cavaliers. They had a fabulous night last night. That coming up at about last night in over 20 minutes. And Lyman, some people, some media are going to hate me when I say it. I think Shador might have had a point yesterday when he was talking about vibes. Let me explain in 5 on the Fan.
I really.
It's so cool. I mean, it's 99.9 of this world's dream is to get to do what we do. How we could ever come out here and not be just jacked to get to coach and play in the NFL. I have no idea. I try to tell the players, like, your body language screams what you enjoy doing, right? Why would you not love this? Forget the money, forget all of that. You get to play football for a living.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Monkin man. A passionate person, Todd Monkin is. Guardians won again last night. Came from behind against the Houston Astros. We'll get to that about last night. Had a spirited argument. It spilled over into the phones with the boss. That's how ugly the argument was at the beginning of the show. Knockdown, drag-out baseball arguments. I love it. Don't you love it? I hope you do. Here's an argument here about the media. Shador Sanders took to the podium yesterday, which, all right, I'm going to say this quick. Deshaun didn't speak yesterday. I imagine Deshaun's going to speak next week or the week after that, or how these off seasons go, right?
Afternoon show lost their mind on this yesterday.
I didn't mean to call anybody out. I imagine he's going to speak next week or the week after. I got to take a look at the
well, if
calendar
he's going to keep
here.
Playing quarterback here, he'll have to talk at some point.
Well, yeah, it can't be a starter and not speak. I mean, that's going to happen. But
in camp, the quarterbacks all speak at some point.
I understand that, but I'm just clarifying that I imagine he's going to speak next week. And they just broke up the quarterbacks and didn't have all three talk.
That's kind of what I assume.
Okay. So I'm just making sure we don't need to.
They had two of them talk.
Yeah, well, you had three of them. Two's going to talk on one day, and one's going to talk on the other. And the one's going to be Deshaun Watson.
Each just talk on your own day. Or all talk together.
You want 3 separate days for QBs? That's fine by me.
2 separate days for QBs?
Well, did they even have to do with treatments, when they're getting treents or anything like that?
Who the hell knows? Who knows? I just know that it wasn't worth losing my mind over yesterday.
Well,
whether or not
did you have to hear from Deshaun? Was there something people wanted to hear from him?
I don't know. I think there's plenty of fans out there that would never want to hear from him.
I think in a world where we keep tallies on who starts and gets the most reps with which team and all that, I think hearing from quarterbacks either together, if you just did one, that's fine. I think when you do 2, you should do 3.
So you didn't like it?
Yep.
Wow.
It's not that I didn't like it. Don't put that word out there.
Oh, sorry. Then you.
I just think it logically, if you're going to do 2, just do 3.
Well, he would have been compared directly, his answers to Shador and just the overall tone of that. And I have to be honest, since Deshaun Watson has been here, he has not been a great communicator. Now, a lot of that had to do with him having to dance around his legal issues. Because that was all obviously getting settled behind the scenes, so he could never really address some of it. But, we always talked about, was he going to show remorse? Was he even allowed to show remorse? In the end, he just never had anything really interesting to say.
It's also been 2 years since he's really been an active member of this football team.
Yeah.
There you go. So I'm sure he'll talk next week, and I'm sure we'll break apart everything that he's talking about and see where he stands on Monkin and the former regime and being a football player again, for crying out loud, instead of just a guy who works out on Instagram for people to see. So this is an interesting set of circumstances. But Shador had spoken yesterday, and he spoke about vibes.
Coach Monkin great, and all the other coaches on the staff is extremely great. You're going to understand and embrace you just as a person, then they push you each and every day, in the meeting room and on the field, in the weight room. Like, it's a new vibe, it's a new energy. The only thing we missing is y'all. We need y'all to have a new vibe, new energy. I know y'all want us to win, so we need some winning energy here. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Tone, I'll speak my piece in a second, but take her away.
I love it.
You did.
This is the time of the year.
Wow. Hey, all right.
Well, what's there to be negative about today? It's the celebration of, hey, football is getting underway. Obviously, I think Shador knows everybody has to do their job. Once there's actually stuff to report on, when there's obviously going to be the talking to the players and the coaches and, setting your best foot forward for the new season. We're still trying to figure out Todd Monkin as a head coach with this new staff. I don't think there's anything to be negative about on day 1 in April.
Do you think he meant y'all as in the media, the assembled media, or y'all as the royal everyone out there?
No, I think he meant the media.
The media. Yeah,
I think he meant the media.
It seemed pretty specific, I thought.
Well,
I think that's losing sight of what the focus is.
I love it when we do this, and then us in the media, how dare you? I love it.
I didn't see a lot of that yesterday.
I got a couple. Got a couple texts. Got a couple texts. I decided to be quiet because they know that.
Because I saw a bunch of. Yeah, it's April.
No, they know.
It's the first day of camp. We're back to Browns football again. We get to see guys running around, throwing 11 on 11, 7 on 7.
Well, Browns media is known to be a little bit on the negative side. Now, I don't. You've discussed it before, and I think you're right. Even John has said, he goes, "Boy, you guys are way nicer than Philadelphia media." But either way,
Browns media and Cleveland media are two different things, though, as well.
Well, people just loop it all together. So
now, I will say this: like you just said, Browns media tends to be negative.
I think people have the perception that Browns media tends to be negative.
Sure, they match what they're reporting on. I'll tell you this: how do you feel about people like me talking about the Cavs every day?
You've been a pretty big Cavs supporter this year. Basically every year.
How do you feel about, especially last year? What did you call me when I talked about the Guardians?
I called you Anthony Dolan.
Because you said I was an apologist for the baseball team. So let's think about that. Let's put it in perspective. I'm positive about the Cavs. I'm positive about the Guardians. I'm negative about the Browns. Are you noticing any kind of a trend there?
Yes, I am.
Are we establishing any kind of logical pattern here?
Yes, the trend is being established.
So wouldn't it be weird if I was positive about the Browns but negative on the teams that go to the playoffs every year? That's actually one of my criticisms about someone on the station right now. But wouldn't that be
point, yeah.
Wouldn't that be really, like, I just looked, and we'll get to this in about last night. The Cavs championship odds keep going up based on everything that's going on.
Moving on up.
And right now they're 4th, and it's even tightening. They're getting closer to 3.
Yep.
Is that not something I should be positive about? What are the Browns championship odds today?
But you're not critical.
Hold on. Somebody look it up. What are the Browns championship odds today?
Not good.
Aren't they tied in the bottom 4 or 5?
I don't have time to go looking down there. I got to give you my thoughts on this here.
I'm guessing my level of positivity/negativity is going to mirror that.
So are you critical of Shador for saying that or not?
Not at all.
Okay, because I thought you might be on their side because I got a bunch of texts and I go, well, I imagine this is where Lima is. So I apologize because I got some texts from some point in Cleveland and Cleveland Browns media, but even one person who doesn't even cover the team who heard those words. And the media gets awful defensive. What are the odds? What do you got them?
Bottom 5 right now, according to ESPN, with the Raiders, Jets, Dolphins, Cardinals.
That's a who's who right there.
But I'm not coming on every day screaming about how bad the Browns are going to be in April.
But I do think
that if that was happening from every direction, yeah, I'd be like, guys, are you going to give us a chance to be a normal football team? Like, we have a new coach. Let's at least learn the playbook before you're crushing us.
Well, in the last 20 years, let me compare it this way. In the last 20 years, how many great pitchers have the Guardians had? A lot.
Yeah.
And so we were all led to assume that Tristan McKenzie was just going to be, I assumed that he was just going to be the next in line of great Guardians pitchers. So we put a lot of pressure on him. Now, that's positive pressure. And when he can't come around for a multitude of reasons, I don't begrudge him for the rest of his career, for crying out loud, but it just wasn't working out here. It's that much more disappointing when it doesn't go that way. Well, he's new. He didn't step into that. He didn't ask to step into that. He was selected. For Shador and for a lot of guys, they're not from here. And they come from successful programs where the vibes are pretty positive. I mean, if you come from the Buckeyes, who's negative around the Buckeyes in Columbus? There's very little reason to be negative about the Buckeyes in Columbus. They come from great programs where there's very little reason to be negative. And then you come here, and I think that they are a little bit shell-shocked where, you're stepping into 20 years, for the most part, 20-plus years, of futility. Yeah. And so there's a lot of stuff where Shador didn't ask for it, and even other players didn't ask for it. But they're still having to deal with the residual effect from media and even fans of the players that came and failed before them.
And also, this isn't a college town. This isn't Boulder. Your dad's not the head coach. Your dad, the coach, doesn't have the ability to ban media from covering the team because they said something negative, which happened. Dion, go look it up. Dion did have kind of a penchant for, I don't like what that guy said. He is no longer going to get a credential here. He has no power over that here. So it is different. Imagine if you were in Boulder and it was a bunch of rah-rah, and rightfully so. It was awesome. It was an awesome story. They were a national story. Things are going south in a hurry there right now. I'm a little worried about the future of Dion and what they're doing in Boulder. That's neither here nor there. But there was so much positivity because they had earned it. They had started to earn it. They were winning games. They were turning around the program. They were on 60 Minutes. There was an energy there. When you do that in Cleveland, they'll throw a parade for you, Shador. You will not have to worry about the media being negative in Cleveland, Ohio. We cried on the air when we went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ken and I sobbed. We sobbed.
Kid and Owen made fun of us real bad. So did Keith. Keith still throws it in my face to this day.
Absolutely. They wanted to humiliate us over that.
I won't cry in front of my own sons. I'm serious. I went downstairs. When my mother died, I recused myself from the situation and went downstairs because I wouldn't do it in front of my children. And I did it that day on the radio when they made the playoffs.
Was there any negativity after that? And even, honestly, even when they lost the game the way they did to Kansas City, sure, we looked at some coaching decisions here and there or whatever. But in the end, we left that season going, holy cow, this is going to be a lot of fun over the next 5 years. So we were positive. That's what happens. You earn that positivity. And so I have no problem that Shador said that. I think every fan has the right. I make fun of fans for being delusional this time of year. But hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Lock arms. Let's get excited. Let's go to Berea the first chance we get and go, here we go, Brownies, here we go. I'm with Shador. New coach, new energy. All that stuff is fun. But don't expect cheerleaders if you start out 1-5.
I don't think it would be naive to think so. I don't think he would. I have to say that on his account. I am surprised you had that opinion, though. That is very strong, and I like it a lot. Here we are, not disagreeing again. Damn it, we've had 3 great chances, and here we are. Around the AFC North, coming up at 8 o'clock, coming up in 5 minutes. Everyone in the NBA is having problems, except for your Cleveland Cavaliers. They had a fabulous night, and so did Chase DeLauder. It's all coming up in 5 minutes on About Last Night on The Fan.
It is
really don't give a shit. I mean, it had nothing to do with me. I mean, they moved the meeting. I didn't miss it. I was just trying to get a sweet haircut.
How it is when you win in Cleveland, man. They love you. When you lose, whew, it's the way it should be.
I got rumors about him, how he couldn't please his wife, and so now he's divorced.
That sounds really good, but I'm not 6'5", and I don't have the athletic ability to play in the NBA.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Are the Cavs the best team in the East, or the only team to defend home court in the Eastern Conference? And, well, the Celtics couldn't do that last night against the 76ers. The Celtics really couldn't hit anything from three. Are you a little bit more positive about the Cavs seeing what the Celtics put up last night?
I'm the wrong person to ask that question.
Why wouldn't I be?
As I have. No, I'm just saying.
Oh. Because your homerism?
I've been accused of being a homer, and I've just said all along, this year to start out the season, that the East was going to be wide open because of the Tatum situation. Now, Tatum came back, and I was like, oh boy, he kind of looks like 75, 80% of Tatum. It's going to be hard for us without wings to really match up with the Celtics. With all that said, I love the situation they're in. This is why this path is so awesome for us, because the Celtics have more flaws than they have had in recent years. You didn't see it in the regular season, but come playoff time, given their roster, this is the worst roster they've had in a long period of time. And I love the fact that we could be in a scenario where the Celtics might have to gut out a bunch of games to continue their playoff run. And you're sitting there looking at, hey, Toronto, we're 2-0. I mean, San Antonio, they dropped a game. Denver Nuggets dropped a game. You look up and down all over the NBA. We're now fourth highest in championship odds, second highest in Eastern Conference championship odds, and it's narrower by the hour right now. This is a great place to be in. I would advise for people who have been holding the Cavs at arm's length, pay attention to the rest of the league. You've got a shot. You've got a legitimate shot. This isn't just about the Cavs. You have to look at other teams, too. Somebody has to represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals.
You're so fired up. I love it so
much.
much.
How could you not feel better about it? They lost. There's a way that you could beat them. They bleed. So, yeah, but you got to take care of your business first. They're taking care of their business right now. And there's a lot of teams that are kind of figuring out. Right now, the Cavs are doing a pretty damn good job of taking care of their own business.
Victor Wembanyama, the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year and likely MVP, went down in the second quarter. He went down with a concussion. He's ruled out for a little while. Did you guys see that play?
I did not. I beg your pardon. I did not see it.
His face bounced, front face bounced
it's
off the hardwood.
It's the ooh reaction.
Oh my god!
I mean, are the Spurs screwed without him?
No. Well, first of all, they have proven this year.
Win a championship without him.
But he's going to come back. They've proven they can win without him in the regular season. And last night, I thought they were in command of that game going into the fourth quarter, because that's when I went to bed. And then I woke up and said, whoopsie-daisies. That's a much different matchup, and all these are when you lose a guy as important as Wemby. That was crazy to see. Somebody like him, and you're like, oh, boy, how bad of a concussion is this going to be? When's he even going to be able to play again? But no teams can afford to lose their best player, let alone somebody who defends half the court at all times.
Would he be the first since Jordan to win DPOY and MVP in the same year? Wasn't that 87, 88 or somewhere in there? Is when he won it?
You know
did
what?
The same thing. I got to look back.
Was
It's
that
late
the same
80s.
year?
Know that.
LeBron never won Defensive Player of the Year.
Probably could. Well,
he should have.
He chose when he wanted to play defense.
There was a year where I absolutely think he could have won.
Well, it was a different game than it was.
3 times. Jordan, Hakeem did it in 93, 94.
Oh, really?
And Giannis did it in 1920.
I beg your pardon.
So
1920. Man, Giannis.
Yeah.
On the
longevity
time traveler.
The Guardians last night, big comeback win against the Astros. Ken and I already had our spirited debate about Chase DeLauder earlier in the show, but I love what Brian Rocchio did. I just love the fact that this team, they put on insurance runs last night. Brian Rocchio got a hit. Kyle Manzardo, of all people, got a 2-run single. This has to get you feeling good about the Guardians offense.
See, now, if you wanted to ask me about somebody I was concerned about, because that was the operative word that you used, I would be more concerned a little bit about Kyle Manzardo. Because I thought there was a little bit more of a guessing game. I didn't think that Chase DeLauder was up there guessing. However, Brian Rocchio, Stephen Vogt talked about it, because I remember we were loading in some stuff over at Fox 8, And Stephen Vogt talked about it where, like, he's staying in that 9 spot. Like, it's like he thinks he's an extra leadoff hitter, and he's very comfortable there, and he's very good there. And I know that we're all excited about the future of this franchise, but, man, Brian Rocchio is a try-hard. He's pretty good. Like, it's going to be hard to remove him from the club to put up your different people that you want in the middle. Numbers. Yeah, that you want in the mid-infield. And he plays like this, it's impossible to do so. So, damn it, man, he's thrown some big names around, like Jose Ramirez, who we wanted to pattern his game after, and we laughed and laughed and laughed. But, boy, he is as self-made as it gets. It's a fun thing to behold to watch him play and to see him grow and get better.
I just love what I've seen. Look at his numbers right now: 134 OPS plus, 34% better than the average hitter.
Is that
right
good?
Now. Well, 100 is always league average.
I know we've had a lot of Cade Smith conversations. He came in. Thank goodness that they got the insurance runs.
Yeah,
because he gave up.
He gave up one
more hits, more runs. He has given up base runners in the 9th inning in 9 of his last 11 relief appearances.
He only seems to go 1, 2, 3 when we're not on the next morning.
9 of 11 though.
Saturday, it
honestly,
was
that's not close. That's not a closer for a team trying to make a deep playoff run.
Just a little bit of patience here.
I know, it's only April.
Just give him a 4-run lead every time.
And if they can get a 4-run lead, we've had some nice insurance games.
The whole bullpen is scuffling, bud.
Yeah.
The whole bullpen is scuffling, which, by the way, I know we talked about this last Friday. I have it on me now. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the smelling salts on me. You want to do it at the end of the show?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do it now? Oh, I might need to pick me up now.
Yeah,
I've never done
this
bump
there around 8:20.
Is this
hold on.
Is this seriously a performance enhancer?
No. We'll see how the.
You have problems getting it up.
I'm asking.
I don't know. It doesn't say anything about sex in here. I
said performance enhancer.
If
I didn't say
you have heart
what
disease or high
performance.
blood pressure, that sounds like the same thing you would do if you were taking like a pill. Interesting. Okay, I got smelling salts from a local football coach on Friday. He mailed it here. Got here Monday, and because we had playoff basketball and everything like that, we've been waiting until today. So I have the smelling salts here. I've never done smelling salts. I'll do it on the air. Okay, are you going to do it with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you're going to do it. You've done smelling salts, but yeah, there you go. All right, there we go. Thank you very much, John. Are you participating with us?
If you let me.
All right. I have the Chinese-made smelling salts here. It stimulates the senses, it says. All right. You know who else stimulates the senses? Mo Egger, Bob Haney, Andrew Filipponi. We'll go around the AFC North coming up at 8:01. Yeah, Pony is joining us on the Fan. DriveClassicChevy.com. Go to that website. See what they could possibly have for you because you're going to be blown away.
All the best segments from all our shows can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch up on the Browns draft news you may have missed on your ride home. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Remember, all of them guests appear on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline. We got 3 of them as we go around the AFC North as we are getting ready for the 2026 NFL Draft, which you'll hear live coverage on your flagship home for Cleveland Browns football, 92.3 The Fan. Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore joins us. How much pressure's on Lamar Jackson now that he got his head coach fired and a head coach that he wants?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's been at all of the off-season stuff so far, including this week's voluntary mini camp, as the Ravens made sure to put it out on their social media platforms there. Pressure's on him a lot. They didn't make the playoffs last year. He's still angling for a big old contract extension, which I still think he's going to get eventually. But except for his 9th year in the league, he's accomplished everything you could possibly want to accomplish individually. A couple of MVPs, probably should have won it in 24. The last year was disappointing for him and for the team, so there's absolutely pressure on him to succeed this year.
Yeah, Bob, a lot of fans get upset when we talk about Myles Garrett not being any of this stuff, especially considering he's a new head coach. And every time I reference, well, Lamar Jackson went. Did fans care that Lamar Jackson was there, or did they say what they might have said in previous years?
Well, certain faction does. I mean, I think it's a good sign because you do have a new head coach, Jesse Minter. You have a new coordinator in Declan Doyle, who's basically Lamar's age. So to get there early, send a message to the teammates, that's a really strong signal. I think Derrick Henry's there, Trey Hendrickson is there, among others. So a lot of veteran, presences, and then OTAs are next month and everything that follows with it. If John Harbaugh was still the head coach, I don't know if Lamar be there right now, to be totally honest with you.
Oh, that's some... Whoa! Whoa! Okay, so let me ask you this. I mean, there has been some criticism laid at almost said LeBron, at Lamar's feet about all this. And, I mean, he's the quarterback of the football team that didn't make the playoffs last year, so rightfully so. But there's also been conversation where, hey, they were willing to move on from Joe Flacco before he was officially done. He's technically not still officially done, but you get what I'm saying there. If it doesn't go well in 2026, could they be in the market for a first-round quarterback in 2027?
Man, I don't know if it's to that level, because when Joe Flacco played his last snap as a Raven, he gets hurt. The Ravens are 4-5. Lamar takes over. They go 6-1, make the playoffs, and the writing was on the wall there. And then, of course, Lamar took off after that season. I don't think we're at that stage with Lamar Jackson because they're about to pay him. So I think Lamar's pretty secure in his status as the Ravens' starting quarterback and, quite frankly, one of the top franchise quarterbacks in the league.
Does Todd Monkin come up in conversation ever in Baltimore sports talk radio this offseason?
Not really. I mean, Todd Monkin was a guy that, helped Lamar have 2 of the best seasons of his career in 23 when he won the MVP and 24 when he had statistically his best year. There was some chatter that, Lamar and Zay and Derrick Henry, some of these guys weren't real happy with the way the offense was rolling. But I think Todd Monkin, no real criticism thrown towards him. The one guy that still gets kind of roasted a little bit is Zach Orr, now in Seattle with Mike McDonald.
So who do you want to take at 14 for the Baltimore Ravens?
I think if all of the mocks are to be believed, Vega, the guard from Penn State, if he's there, he probably fits in. If he's not, maybe they go tight end with Kenyon Sadiq, since Likely and Kohler are both gone. If Pinot from Utah falls to them, he could be an option. I mean, I think wide receiver and offensive lineman are their 2 pretty significant needs right now.
Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore as they get ready for pick number 14 of the draft. This team had pick number 10. They decided to trade it away for Dexter Lawrence. It's been met with some criticism, not by this show. We liked that move. And let's talk about it with Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. Worthy of the number 10 overall pick, Mo, is that Dexter Lawrence? Did you not like the trade, or did you like the trade?
I liked it. I'm still stunned by it because this was so out of character for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's just not the sort of move that you associate with this franchise. But, yeah, I think, number one, there was a real sense of, potential disappointment if the player they really wanted at 10 wasn't there. There's conflicting reports as to who that would have been, but I think there's a couple of different things here. One, they traded the built-in uncertainty with any draft pick for more of a known quantity in Dexter Lawrence. They also did something that you typically don't associate the Bengals with doing, which is, swapping out the cheap labor of the 10th overall pick for a guy who's not cheap labor in Dexter Lawrence. But I think more than anything, they view this season as their window. And I know that sounds strange for a team that was so bad last year, didn't come close to making the playoffs, had a wretched defense, but you're in a division with 3 teams with new head coaches. 2 of them never swapped out head coaches, so period of transition in the AFC North. I think last year one of the things that made the season so frustrating for the Bengals was the fact that the AFC seemed so wide open. I think it still does. And despite all of their flaws last season, they entered this offseason reasonably set on one side of the football. This is the first draft that I can remember where we haven't been talking about offensive line being a glaring need for the Bengals. They could still use some depth pieces. And I think they feel like they've invested enough in their defense and free agency so far to really make a play for 2026. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence is under contract to be here for the next 3 years, but I think they saw this as their chance to do something big, to go for it. And if that came at the expense of whichever player may be there at number 10, I think that was a move worth making.
What is the sentiment right now, Mo, on what Joe Burrow is looking for? Obviously, well documented, has the wide receivers and all of that, but just given the injuries, given the offensive line issues, is there anything now, even without that first-round pick, where those targets might be based on Joe Burrow?
Well, I think with Joe Burrow, the conversation is about 2 different things. It's about the fact that so many of his best efforts recently have been wasted. They've lost 7 games over the last 2 seasons where they've scored more than 30 points. He had an MVP year 2 years ago, didn't win the award because the Bengals weren't a postseason team. So I think there's a real sense of they've let some of his prime years come and go without even coming close to competing for a championship, not even making the postseason. But look, I mean, we've talked about this before. The psychoanalysis of Joe Burrow kicked into high gear late last season because he was clearly a guy not happy. He was clearly a guy who I think the wheels were turning upstairs where he's starting to think, is this really what's best for this phase of my career where he plays in his early 30s? And so I've heard people say, well, this Joe Burrow exerted some sway here, and he's the reason why this deal got done. I think his presence is, and I think the fact that they don't want to get to the end of this upcoming season with us wondering, is Joe going to be the latest Bengal to engineer his way out? The window is open. Window's not going to be open forever. Joe Burrow is closer to the end of his time in Cincinnati than the beginning of his time in Cincinnati. They need to win with him, and I think nobody puts more pressure on them to do that than number 9.
Mo Geiger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. So if it doesn't go well this year, he could be on his way out?
Well, I don't think the Bengals would say, hey, it's time to move on from Joe Burrow. I certainly could see Joe Burrow getting to the point where he goes, look, I'm done. I'm out. Figure out a way to move me. I mean, look, it's happened before. Bengals history hovers over all of this. Carson Palmer did it to him in 2011 where he said, trade me or I'm going to retire. Quarterbacks are judged by how much they win. The quarterbacks are judged by not putting up gaudy numbers. They're judged by, do they have a chance to compete for a championship? I find it hard to believe that if the Bengals miss the postseason for a 4th consecutive year, especially if Joe is healthy, especially if he plays well, that all's going to be right with the relationship between the player and the team. And so I completely believe that it's on the table to discuss what Joe may do in relation to his career if this team doesn't qualify for the postseason this upcoming season. Now, I believe if he plays 17 games, they'll at least sneak their way into the playoffs. But they simply can't have this season go anything like the way the last 2 seasons have gone.
Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. Let's go to Pittsburgh. At 93.7 the fans, Andrew Filipponi, where they're hosting the draft, and none of them seem actually happy about hosting the draft. You guys have pick number 21. What are you going to do with it?
I think it comes down to wide receiver and offensive line. One of those two spots. Broderick Jones might not play football again. He suffered a setback after a neck injury. So that introduces the offensive tackles. I hope it's not Blake Miller. I'm not a fan of his whatsoever.
Why?
So I'm hoping to cross his
tell
name
us
off the list.
more.
Why?
That's going to be controversial on this interview.
Why? He stinks. Right tackle.
He stinks?
Can't play the left side.
Do you understand? No, you're trying. I know he's just trying to bait me. So no, I'm not gonna engage in it. No.
Why? I mean, I'm not allowed to have an opinion on a football player?
No, I think I know what you're doing to me, and it's not going to happen. So.
Oh, you mean like when you used to yell at me about Drew Aller and tell me how he was the second coming of quarterback play?
Did I say that you would take him? Did I say that No, I didn't say any of those.
So
when did I? By the way, when did I give you hell on Drew Aller? When did I do it?
I used to say the guy was not a big game player, not a clutch player, and he used to call me out on Twitter for it. That's all.
I have to go back and look, but social media isn't real life. We're talking about real on the air stuff here.
Wait a minute.
So you decided. So you also decided to tear down Blake Miller because of an old grudge with me and Drew Aller?
No, I just don't think Blake Miller's that good of a player. I don't think he fits the Steelers.
I'm sure you
don't.
don't.
That on the show?
Yeah, I'm sure you don't.
Why? Is his family listening or something? Are you nervous that Mrs. Miller is going to text the show now?
Well, considering how intense the family seems to be, I think you need to be worried that Mrs. Miller is listening to the show right now.
Well, you need to be worried that Kenny Pickett's aunt is going to come for you someday.
Pony, I think I was taken aback just to see that QB1 in camp was going to be Will Howard, and they have been incommunicado with Aaron Rodgers, the guy that may be starting quarterback again for the Steelers when the season starts. Are fans upset about this? Feels like you guys should be outraged.
Well, they claim they're not incommunicado. They claim that he's talking to them and FaceTiming them every day. And Art Rooney said yesterday morning that Aaron Rodgers has some stuff to do the next couple of weeks, and he's going to let them know after those 2 weeks what's going on. Yeah, fans are upset, and they should be. It's ridiculous being beholden to a guy that's going to turn 43 in the middle of next season, the guy that scored a grand total of 6 points in their playoff loss to Houston.
Well, also, Pony,
can't move anymore.
A new coach gives you the bonus practices, right? The ability to do more. You're sitting there seeing Baltimore is able to take advantage of it. Lamar Jackson is there at everything, and the Steelers can't do
how
it.
They're spinning this tone. This is how they're spinning it. Aaron Rodgers doesn't need these practices. It's actually a benefit to Will Howard that Aaron Rodgers is off therapeutic vomiting somewhere, that he gets the reps at practice instead of Aaron Rodgers. That's how they're making it sound.
Andrew Filipponi.
Are you guys ready for the draft or not?
Well, it's interesting that the way Ken introduced it, because Ken said, Twitter, don't believe everything you read on there. It's not that big of a deal. If you go by Twitter, nobody wants the draft here. But I don't think that Twitter's the benchmark for this stuff. I think there's going to be over 100,000 people down there each day, Thursday,
Well, it's a
Friday,
draft. I'd hope
Saturday.
there'd be 100,000 people down there. It's a draft.
Each day. Yeah.
Oh. You're really setting a high bar.
How they inflate these numbers. They said that you guys had, 2 million people for a Cavs parade?
1.3 million. It's 1.3 million.
Was there a turnstile?
The answer is
one. Somebody that had a little clicker?
Anthony?
Okay, here's a new person.
Correct the man. Correct the man.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and have to defend a number.
1.3 million.
1.3 million people.
1.3 million.
1.3 million.
1.3 million.
1.3 million people show up.
1.3 million.
John Cena said it.
Yeah.
And you couldn't even count him because you couldn't see him.
It was on Jeopardy. It was they researched that stuff.
Yeah,
they
it was
just
on Jeopardy.
throw it up there.
Celebrated his favorite NBA team winning the championship with how many of your friends? I'm going to assume we're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes, sir.
All right.
About 1.3 million of them.
That was not Mian Bialik, nor was it Aaron Rodgers hosting Jeopardy there. That was the legend himself.
There you go.
Alex Trebek.
There you go.
So you think they're going to allow their crack team, their researchers, to come up with a bogus number for a parade? Get
on
out
our
of
level.
here, Pony.
Get on our level. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's a nice town. It's just you guys can't host events like we can. That's all.
How many big events other than the draft have you guys hosted?
We had the Republican National Convention.
Did you go?
We did go.
Yes, we did.
We did
go. Yes, we did.
And we support the United States of America.
Yeah. You got a problem with the good old US of A, Andrew?
No, none whatsoever.
Sounds like you do.
Anything else?
No, goodbye. Andrew Filippone, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. Getting you
ask
ready
him about one of the senators in his state.
For the draft, put the safety back on. Getting ready for the draft in Pittsburgh coming up tomorrow night. Boy, you hear what Mo Egger said.
Yes, indeed.
I got a spicy opinion about Joe Burrow in 5 minutes. Can I share that with you? Also, Mike Vrabel had a lot of explaining to do, and he tried to do it yesterday, and everything says I should take him seriously, but I still don't think you do. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work in the free Odyssey app. Tom Merriman and Merriman League. around the AFC North just moments ago. Charles Davis going to join us on the Make It Right Call Kyle Right hotline. NFL Network analyst, draft analyst, color analyst, CBS. He's going to join us coming up at 9 a.m., plus your chance to win an autographed Evan Mobley jersey. So I don't want to be hot takey. I don't want to be anything like that. I think that this is the year for Joe Burrow. This is put up or shut up. I think this year you make that move for Dexter Lawrence. You still got Jamar Chase. You still have T. Higgins, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they took care of your guys. They went and they gave up their first-round pick. And by the way, I think it's a good trade. It's not a great draft. I think you could look each other dead in the eye and go, is the player we're going to get at 10 ever going to be good as Dexter Lawrence is, who's still in his prime at 28 years old? I think that says that, yeah, you can make that trade at number 10 overall. That's fine.
The best rationale is because normally this is not a good move, and traditionally these moves do not pan out. Guys, it becomes it goes the other way for a lot of diminishing returns for these players in these situations. But this draft, because of how it's framed compared to other drafts, I think it's more justifiable.
Yeah, I totally agree. If it were a star-studded defensive draft thing, and you got stars there. I mean, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles and a couple of Caleb Downs. I mean, good God, that's an embarrassment right there of riches in Columbus, Ohio, as it is. But you have this draft that at number 10, none of those guys are probably going to be there, and you could make that move. I say make that move. Beside that point, though, you've done all this for Joe Burrow. I'm kind of flirting with the notion. If you don't get it done this year, he's going to blame Cincinnati. He's going to blame the Browns, the Brown family, not the Cleveland Browns. And I wonder if the fan base probably down there will be Team Joe Burrow. I'm guessing.
Unless he gets injured again.
But let's just say he plays and he plays well and they don't make the playoffs. Even if he plays well, like, it is a rings culture. It is a what have you done for me? All those cliches that you can throw out there. You start to wonder, this is like, would they not move on from him, but do you start to feel like maybe he's a little, dare I say the word, overrated?
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if there's already some, and again, I'm
not saying yet. I'm talking about at the end of this coming season. They've given him a lot now.
Sure, I think they are just wondering how reliable he is. And they're not going to blame him. They're blaming mostly the offensive line, the offense, the coach. The cheapness of the organization. Although, how about people saying the Giants are actually cheaper than the Bengals? I saw that over the last few days. Either way, I think it's more about that than Burrow. And if he just can't stay healthy, then I don't know if they're going to say he's overrated. They're just going to say the whole situation
was bad.
It's just never going to work if he can't stay on the field.
Yeah, it would be horrible. But I don't want to talk about it. He's been injured all off.
Let me ask you, in Indy, what did they say about Andrew Luck?
Oh, the injury.
Who had success right off the bat, showed that he could get to was he in the AFC Championship game?
I think they went to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, that was Deflategate.
Yeah.
Second year.
So I think there's a lot of similarities here.
There certainly is. But I don't,
And he's celebrated, to this day, he's celebrated there in Indy.
Well, because he walked away from what still could have been a promising career where he could have changed that narrative. Now, Jim Irsay, I think it's a hell of a point because Jim Irsay would have done anything for Andrew Luck. And if Andrew Luck were still playing, the family would still do anything they could for Andrew Luck as far as bringing talent to play around him. But when it comes to Joe Burrow, there's Mo Egger's been with us before, and he said, Joe Burrow might have saved football in Cincinnati. There's a lot of things to say about Joe. And I'm not saying yet, but it's one of the things to pay attention to because they make this move for Dexter Lawrence. Did it change who you think are contenders in the AFC?
No.
See, that's the thing. And I don't want to overrate it and I don't want to undersell it. I just want to find the truth because we tend to be overzealous about everything. That's why I don't want it to be clipped and be Ken thinks that Joe Burrow's no. But if they don't make the playoffs this year and Joe Burrow finishes the season healthy, what else are you going to say about him? We got to be able to take the gloves off at some point. Wonderful player, wonderful man. But if you're not able to do this with what they've done with the wide receivers, and I know they didn't get a lot of help on the offensive line. They addressed it as best they could. They made mistakes. What team doesn't make mistakes with their quarterbacks? The Buffalo Bills have made mistakes. I don't hear any excuses from Josh Allen.
Very rarely are you serving up a perfect situation for a quarterback the way that Jimmy Garoppolo had a perfect situation. Brock Purdy when he came onto the scene.
At some time, we just have to stop griping and making excuses and go, hey, man, they've given you what they can. It's on you. I don't hear it in Buffalo. I don't hear it in you hear a little bit of it in Baltimore, I got to admit, but you don't hear it in a lot of other cities. I don't hear it about Patrick Mahomes, for crying out loud. Maybe some fans, Owen would know better than me, but you're making no excuses for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, we're talking about guys who are in the similar ilk of 1% quarterbacks here. And we're getting to a point where it's like, hey, man, like, you either got to do it or you don't. Like, every quarterback has to deal with things that get in the way.
I think the difference with Burrow is I don't blame him for being, like, inadequate or not as good as we thought he was. Every time I see him when he is upright and healthy, he is awesome.
Yes, he is.
And
But
he's never the reason they lose.
Have they even been back to the playoffs since the Super Bowl?
No, I don't think they have.
That was a one-time thing.
But but the difference is I've never blamed him. And I don't know how you could.
Injuries, I think, and that's what Mo said. Mo said at the end, if he's healthy for 17 games, they're going to make the playoffs this year. Well, he hasn't been healthy for 17 games in a year, right?
And I just sit there because it's been so long. And you're right about this. Real quick, Odyssey Sports Draft coverage presented nationally by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. Must be 21 and older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only and by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
In the years he's been fully healthy, 2021, when he went to the Super Bowl, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks. Following year, healthy, 35 and 12. Then he only played 10 games. Following year, 2024, 43 touchdowns, 9 picks. When he is healthy, he is awesome. And he's one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the game.
And the offensive line ain't that great. I understand that.
That's the other thing. He's done that with those offensive lines.
The defense should be better. You're right. The weaponry, you got 2 of the best in the game. I think T. Higgins would be a number 1 in a lot of places. Some people disagree. Fair. You got a lot going for you there, and I'm just like, man, when I look at the AFC, I should put them in contender category, and I just really don't. And I don't want to get caught thinking like a lot of people did with the Patriots when Tom Brady left, like, well, it's still Belichick, this, that, and the other. I don't want to get caught like that with some other teams in the AFC. It's like they got to go through some retooling. But, man, I see what they did, and I go, man, I'd make that trade. I agree with Duke Tobin in making that trade, but I don't take them any more seriously than I did before. And that's not a comparison with the Browns, by the way. That's just a comparison between the other teams that are supposed to be good in the AFC. Myles Garrett, Todd Monkin was asked about Myles Garrett yesterday. The Monkin man asked again, and Monkin stressed it's voluntary.
It's fine. This is voluntary. We're making a big deal out of this. We really are. It's voluntary. We have other guys besides Myles that aren't here. I wish they were here. They'll be ready. We expect them to be ready, and we'll be fired up when they're here. And really, all of the players have informed us. They've been unbelievable with their communication. So is Myles. I mean, they've communicated, okay? Doesn't mean I like the communication, but it's voluntary. Like, I wish they were all here, right? I mean, I've said that plenty of times. But every one of them is a Brown, and we're excited that they are.
Can't I just accept that as the truth without trying to find some sort of hidden message or something nefarious, God forbid? Can I just accept that? He's a football coach. They all wish they would all be there for everything. Yeah, they wish they could brainwash them all and make them do exactly what they want because they would, in a coach's mind, they never lose a game. Myles is a different animal. He's going to do it differently. But when I have to play this, of course, it gets people worked up because he hasn't really talked a whole lot with Myles.
It hasn't been a lot. It's fine. This is voluntary. We're making a big deal out of this. We really are. It's voluntary. We have other guys besides Myles that aren't here. I wish they were here. They'll be ready. We expect them to be ready, and we'll be fired up when they're here.
I think I share his frustration because as long as he doesn't go, and I know it's completely voluntary, but if you're Todd Monkin, I'd feel the same way Todd does. I'd be annoyed by the questions, and I know that it would be nicer, and I don't want to turn it around on him, but I have to. It would be a lot nicer if he was here, so I wouldn't have to answer these questions.
Is he annoyed by the
I think he's annoyed that he has to answer the questions.
Wait a second. He's annoyed by the questions, but he admits he wishes everybody was there, which of course includes Myles. I don't think there'd be anything better in the world. You heard our Baltimore reporter say how big of a deal it was that Lamar Jackson was there, and it was all over their social media, just like I said it would have been in Cleveland and Myles been there. So is he annoyed at the people asking the questions, or is he really deep down inside annoyed that Myles isn't there? Because he knows he wouldn't get the questions if Myles was there.
Can I give you my answer at 8:43?
Go ahead.
Because I got to try to find a way to wiggle.
He's
out
not
of
going to
this.
be honest about it.
Charles Davis going to join us at 9:01 on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for Mentality Health. Unlike online-only services, you see a lot out there.
sports in their name. We are Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
It hasn't been a lot. It's fine. This is voluntary. We're making a big deal out of this. We really are. It's voluntary. We have other guys besides Miles that aren't here. I wish they were here. They'll be ready. We expect them to be ready, and we'll be fired up when they're here.
Can I plead the fifth to your question?
No, you must answer. You're on the bench right now.
Ask me the question again.
So the question was, is Todd Monkin annoyed that he's getting the questions or just annoyed that Miles isn't there? Because then he knows he would not be getting the questions and he'd have the added benefit of having Miles be there, which would be pretty cool.
Charles Davis is going to join us at 9 a.m. Talk about the Browns draft 6-24. Also, you have a chance to win an autographed jersey of Evan Mobley.
That's like 13 minutes from now. Between now and then, I need you to answer that question.
What's the question again?
The question is Todd Monkin annoyed that he's getting the questions from the media and that they're asking the questions, or is he more annoyed that Myles Garrett just isn't there? Because, of course, he then wouldn't get the questions, and he'd have the added benefit of having Myles Garrett there.
You can use the free rewind function on the Odyssey app, powered by Integrated Restoration, your local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. We had ourselves a very excellent discussion right at the beginning of the show about Chase DeLauder, where John said he was more concerned about Chase DeLauder than he was about Slade Ciccone. I disagreed. Then Chase DeLauder went and hit a three-run triple yesterday for 3 RBIs. Yes, yeah. Well,
you can also use that rewind feature to go back to the end of last segment when Lima asked you a question that you promised you would answer now, and you are not currently answering. So go ahead, Ken. Answer that question.
What if I don't want to?
Doesn't matter. Got to do it.
Now, DeLauder did snap out of a 1-for-27 slump. So
what are you doing?
Important
to know. Seems like we're moving on.
Why are you doing that?
Seems like we're moving on. Sounds good to me.
Now, do you
Chase DeLauder, 216-474-0092. Guys, get me off this subject.
I do want to ask Seamheads because I asked yesterday.
Yeah, he's got me off of it. I love it.
I did want to ask them because, and this is important to me, because the Seamheads are really good at breaking this stuff down.
This damn question.
No, I'm not. He wants to talk about baseball.
The true baseball knowers,
Anthony Dolan over here,
will be able to help us out here. Can anything break you out of a slump? Like, does it have to be a home run? Can it be a single? Can it be a bunt, drag bunt?
Anything could be a start.
Not
walk?
One hit can break you out of a slump. You have to have like a couple of a really good game where maybe you're 3 for 4.
Okay, listen to John Amansky
Is that
over
true?
here. I don't know if that's
I think you
true.
Go 2 for 4, yeah.
What about a clutch hit? You're not okay. I'm not saying you're out of a slump based on it, but I'm saying that you were overrating the slump.
John, think about the at bat. Okay, fouled off a couple. Right, he hung in there. It's a 2-2 pitch. And then he comes through in a big way.
Baseball.
And now some right now, and our X Reaction, social media reaction brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Corey Smith says, got to talk about the game last night being the win of the year. If we're calling it the win of the year.
Hell yeah, Corey.
Is that a slump buster?
Hell yeah. Everybody hates Jose Altuve. They were booing him again last night, which I got to tell you, I kind of moved past the whole cheating thing because it's like I can't hold that grudge forever. It was ridiculous that they were cheating, but I love that people that they boo Jose Altuve and they booed Alex Bregman. I think it's a great tradition. I love it. I had to explain it to Axel at his first baseball game that I took him to a couple of years ago.
When all those Astros from that year go to other teams and they come back, they still get booed. And it happens in every ballpark.
It is fantastic. Yes, it is a great tradition that I love.
And then was it Michael Brantley who wasn't necessarily associated with it?
Yeah, he was not associated.
Yeah, he still gets booed.
He should be.
Love Chase DeLauder because, 1, I was right about it. 2,
you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No,
he said it. He asked me who I should be more concerned with.
Agreed with you.
He should be more. He's asked who I should be more concerned with. I said I'm more concerned about Slade Ciccone. I'm not as concerned about Chase DeLauder, and I very articulately made the reasons why I'm not as concerned with Chase DeLauder.
In his last 50 at bat.
And I'm not as concerned, guys. If you watch the games, and I know you do, so I'm not talking at you about this, okay? I'm talking to the general population, including John, who thinks he's Abner Doubleday up there.
Better than us because he's from Philly.
No, Doubleday didn't invent baseball. That was a myth.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I know all the baseball stuff, guys.
Definitely needed to litigate that at 8:50 on Wednesday morning.
Anywho, Who did invent baseball?
Gonna do Edison and the light bulb
It
next?
wasn't invented. It derived from a British game called Rounders.
Turn his mic off. He's boring me to tears.
My favorite movie.
I'd rather answer the Miles question than have that stupid debate with you.
We'd rather talk about the actual movie Rounders.
Yes. You got to stop helping Worm. I don't understand what he kept going back to Worm for.
He's taking it down a bad path. I think that was pretty obvious.
And by the way,
2 minutes into the movie,
the girlfriend is not the bad guy here. I mean, he did lose his whole ass in a bet in a game of poker head on with Teddy KGB, and I'm supposed to make her out to be the bad guy? Please. This isn't gambling. You know who says it ain't gambling? Gamblers, problem gamblers say that. They're the ones who yell it with their wives and say, this isn't gambling. Don't you understand that? Yeah, that's what they yell in arguments. That's what they yell.
Speaking of problem gamblers, they would not bet on Chase DeLauder right now.
And they wouldn't bet on me answering the question about Myles Garrett right now.
Is it gambling if you put down a lot of money on the Cavs to get out of the Eastern Conference now that the Celtics have exposed themselves as a fraud?
Here we are, potpourri. I think I would do the same thing if you were going to, which I'm not a gambling man. I would rather gamble on the Cavaliers making it out of the Eastern Conference against the Celtics than I would Matt Damon beating Teddy KGB.
Wow.
Even though he ends up winning in the end and the girlfriend isn't there. He should go back to the girlfriend with the money. Why didn't he go back to the girlfriend with the money? He ain't better off without her. She let him stay in his apartment. She let him stay in her apartment. It was a nice place. We're talking New York City. It's always expensive there. He had everything he could possibly want. He was on his way to law school. All she wanted him to do was be a grown-up. He wanted to, sit there and play cards? With Russian gangsters? Oh, yeah, that's a nice future you got there set up for you. Yeah, okay.
So if DeLauder gets a hit in his first at bat today, does that bust the slump?
I don't know. I really don't.
Well,
I don't know what actually busts the slump.
Yeah.
Even if he went like 1 for 4.
See, I'm not making the argument. I want it to be clear. I will not answer the question about Myles, but I also want to be clear that I am not saying that busted the slump. I don't know what actually gets you out of a slump, how many hits it takes to get you out of a slump. I don't know that.
Well, you just know when you know.
You know exactly when a guy is out of a slump. Maybe we don't
when you know
need
you're
to
in
define
love.
it.
You just know when you're in love. You know when you know.
You also know when your star defensive end is at practice and when he's not, and if he's texted you, and if you're annoyed by the questions. And Ken, your answer is?
I'm annoyed because I keep getting asked the question, so guess what? I'd have to agree with Todd. Or I'd have to say, if I were Todd, oh, God. It'd just be easier to answer the questions if he were there.
You would embrace the questions.
I hate this. I hate that I have to answer it. And it doesn't get any better because then we have arguments about Deshaun Watson and Shador Sanders. Other than that, congratulations on all our success. Lordy.
Was it nice to see some football yesterday? Some quarterbacks throwing footballs? Was that nice?
I guess. Whatever.
Big controversy over who caused the interception for Shador. Big online controversy, because that's what we're going to be doing.
I'm not looking at that. I don't care. I do not care. That I'm not going to. I will answer the Myles question fine. I'm not going to subject myself to that. Anybody want to win an Evan Mobley autographed jersey?
I'm raising my hand.
Yeah, chance is coming up in 5 minutes. Anybody want to hear Charles Davis on who he thinks the Browns should take at 6 and 24?
Oh, yeah.
Does he think we're going to trade down? Does he think that Todd Monkin is going to be the one to choose the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? Who does he think needs to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns? Well, guess what? Charles Davis will answer all the questions. He ain't going to pussyfoot around like I did with the Myles answer. You know what? We'll ask him about Myles. Coming up in 5 on The Fan.
about to change with 92.3 The Fan. We're going local at 5 a.m. It's The Fan Warm-Up Show with Jeff Thomas. All the latest from the night before in Cleveland sports and getting your day started even earlier. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
You can win an autographed Evan Mobley jersey courtesy of Window Nation right now, where you can save up to 50% off new windows, plus get them 0% interest financing for 5 years. Sale ends soon. Visit windownation.com right now. Enter the word wine. W-I-N-E, wine. As in, have you ever seen the movie Sideways? It's about wine. W-I-N-E. By the end of this hour at 923thefan.com to get registered to win. You can win that autographed Evan Mobley jersey. That word again is wine. Enter it at 923thefan.com by the end of the hour. Good luck, everybody. Let's go to the Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. We welcome in Charles Davis, NFL Network analyst. You can see Charles throughout NFL Network's coverage of the 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, starting Thursday. That's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Charles, thanks for joining us. And who do you think the Browns should take at 6-24 if they stay there?
Ooh, great question to get started, right? Let's see. What did I do with my last final mock draft? Offensive lineman, Francis Mauanoa at 6. And then I did a major change up at 24 because you would expect receiver. I went with Emmanuel McNeil Warren, the safety out of Toledo.
Wow. Safety at 24. Holy
that would throw
potatoes.
people.
Yeah, it would. Yes, it would.
Charles, a big part of the conversation, and this isn't just this draft where it doesn't seem like the elite prospects are there for premium positions, but as you and I both know, we all laugh at that in a year or 2 years, or maybe instantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're Hall of Famers in every draft. So
right.
The thought has always been you've got to prioritize the lines and offensive line when you don't have them. You've got to go get them at the earliest possible time because receivers are always available later in the first round. They can be really good. The problem is this draft, according to the projections, those tackles are not turnkey and not ready to go there at number 6.
Yeah, it's a little different, isn't it? We're talking about a lot of, are we going to do a Jedrick Wills where you draft a right tackle and project him as a left tackle in the NFL? Because it does happen where people make that move. Tristan Wirfs has made it quite well. It looks like Detroit's going to do it with Penei Sewell, and none of us expect him to be anything but dominant as he's been at the right tackle, so we'll see how it goes. But still, making that projection is a little bit different. Out of these tackles, the guys who are really, truly have been left tackles in their college careers, Caleb Lomu from Utah, who's not rated high enough that you would take him at 6, and I think Monroe Freeling from Georgia, who's essentially a 1.5-year starter, not a ton of experience, and we love his athleticism, we love his projection, but you haven't watched it, right? Caden Proctor from Alabama has been a left tackle. I'm not sure anybody's going to jump him up to 6, and I think a lot of people see him as more of a right tackle or even a guard going forward. So that's where it's going to get very interesting because to me, if I'm the Browns, left tackle is much more what I'm prioritizing because I think you're right. Is it DeJuan Jones? That's, to me, he's right. Huh? Is he projected there right now?
Over at left side?
Who's projected on the left side here today?
Yeah, as of today, it would be DeJuan Jones. Yes.
See, that's I wouldn't be comfortable with that. I mean, that just wouldn't fit for me at all. I mean, to me, he's right tackle, 24/7, 365. But we'll see how it goes. But your point is well taken. Do we have those guys? Look, Joe Thomas isn't coming back through that door. We know that. But do we have a facsimile of Joe Thomas that can walk through that door? That's where it's going to get interesting. And if you're going to have to draft another tackle and maybe DeJuan Jones is your left tackle, that may be it. But that offensive line, which was one of the best ones in the NFL not that long ago, boy, those days are over, aren't they?
Don't remind us. Charles Davis joining us right now on the hotline.
Don't.
So the other line of thinking seems to be from Browns fans that if Carnell Tate is there at number 6, you just run up to the podium.
You take him.
You make your selection. Where are you on him? Ohio State's had so many talented wide receivers, and some get lost in the shuffle. Next thing you know, Jackson Smith-Njigba is the best in the game. Like, it happens so quickly. So does Carnell Tate have a chance to be anything close to that?
He does. Absolutely he does. He has everything that the other guys have exhibited in terms of the training, the professionalism, the ability to go get the football, the route running. Does he have the pure blazing speed? No, but does Ibuka? Does JSN? You know, these guys just know how to play. And their ability to create space for themselves, doesn't matter what speed they're running, is extraordinary. And I always come back to, in this run of receivers for Ohio State under Brian Hartline, who's now the head coach of USF, as we know, who's really missed? You know what I'm saying? Like, when they've gotten to the NFL, who's gotten to the NFL and we've gone, People are trying to sell me on Marvin Harrison like that. And I'm like, well, we're just going to year 3. And, boy, has that been an uncertain situation in Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not willing to give up on him just yet. So, all in all, you like what you're getting there. You feel like you know what you're getting out of these receivers. And I think Tate still, I don't care that he ran 4.52 at the Combine. You know, I don't care that – because you remember after that there was all that protest from his camp. Hey, you know, other people timed him at a better time and all that. He didn't run at the pro day. So that told me everything I needed to know. Yeah, you know you're not that fast. All right, you know you're not that speed. Make your protest, but don't run and not prove it. That's why it was fine. But at 4.52, we act like that's slow as molasses. It's not. It's fine. Okay? A lot of 4.52 guys that are, you know, playing really well in this league. And Jerry Rice was a lot slower than that, and he's maybe the best receiver we've ever seen.
Have general fans ever come up to you and bickered about guys being slow as wide receivers in the NFL? Any name starters at all? Like, I can't imagine we're going to be sitting here at the end of the year going, oh, my God, it's like he's running with cement shoes on.
Yeah, you just don't really hear it. I mean, you would hear it if Jake Bobo in Seattle was a frontline receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If Jake Bobo was a frontline receiver running 4.9 coming out, you would hear it then. Oh, by the way, Jake Bobo caught a big-time touchdown pass in the playoffs this year. I know it's a one-off, but all I'm saying is the straight-line speed can get so skewed, and we have skewed it, because the Combine has turned these guys into absolute, truly track stars. And I've always been one of those that it drives me crazy when we as announcers, you know, so I said we. So this is not me pointing fingers. I'm involved. Oh, he's got world-class speed. No, he doesn't. Do you guys know what world-class speed is? It's those guys thundering down the track in the Olympics. And then our guys go and run with them, and they can't keep up. Okay? That's world-class speed. Very few people actually truly possess it. But when I go to the Combine, I'm starting to reassess because these guys are flying. And they've turned 4.5 into looking slow. And 4.5 is fast. I'm sorry.
Charles Davis join us right now on the hotline, loving his draft perspective. We did have the situation that we have every year with Myles Garrett, where he does not show up to all the different early camp practices, and of course none of it's mandatory, but we've seen some of the stars on other teams like Lamar Jackson in Baltimore do it, and then the coach has to ask questions, and he seems annoyed by the reporters asking those questions. Obviously, ideally, in a perfect world, you'd love to have every guy at everything. Do you think that could have been helpful to maybe set the tone with a new head coach and a new defensive coordinator?
Sure, absolutely. By the time we get to camp in July, August, it's a non-issue again. But, yeah, sure, it's always great when everyone's there and the whole deal. Just think about how it is within your division that Lamar Jackson showed up for stuff this offseason when he hadn't done that under John Harbaugh, but now he's doing it under Jesse Minter. Think about what's going on in the Crescent City with all that. Oh, well, that tells us how he felt about John Harbaugh. I mean, oh, God, here we go. So, yeah, sure would have been helpful, absolutely. I don't think anyone within the organization and any Browns fan who has watched Myles Garrett play truly rolls over in the middle of the night and goes, "Oh my God, he didn't go to the off-season stuff. I don't know if he's going to be ready to go this year." Yeah, forget it.
Thank God. Charles Davis joining us on the show. All right, right now, who do you think would be the starter week 1 for the Browns? Deshaun Watson or Shador Sanders?
Ooh. I wouldn't. I've been on record. I continue to stay on record. I would have cut my losses with Deshaun Watson and figured out something a long time ago. That's just me. Other teams have done it. Moved on from those quarterbacks, eaten the thing, the whole deal. The Browns have chosen not to. More power to them. If that's the case, Deshaun Watson has a heck of a chance of being the starter, and I think he's going to be. Now, if you're going to keep him around and give him a fair shot to win it, I think that he's going to win that job. I'm not quite sure what gets accomplished there. Ultimately, are you going to redo a deal? Like, let's say he has a big year. What if he has a big year? You're going to redo and bring him back and all that. There's so many permutations go into it. I would have moved on myself, but that's just me. But I do think that, I've gone circles here. I don't mean to, Andrew. I'm going to say Deshaun Watson's going to line up and be the starter on opening day.
Charles Davis on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. You could see him on the continued coverage throughout NFL Network's coverage of the 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh starting Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Charles, you're always wonderful. Thank you so much for the time. All the best to you and yours.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you. Have fun.
The outstanding Charles Davis on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. How do you think that they'd react if on Saturday night, and I know Emmanuel McNeil Warren, technically local, depending on how local you want to be, Toledo, but went to Toledo. If they took a defensive guy, how do you think the reaction would be?
Defense at, you're talking 24?
20, yeah. At 6, I think there might be, depending on who it is.
I'd be stunned if they did that at number 6 overall. And, they're going to have a chance to take Caleb Downs.
Well, I think that's what I was going to bring up. I think if they took a safety in the first round and it wasn't Caleb Downs, I think people would be pretty upset. Because at least Caleb Downs comes in and immediately puts pressure on the guys that are on the roster. I don't know.
That is as different as I've ever seen. Like, there was a guy from The Athletic that Nick just highlighted earlier today that has us taking 2 offensive linemen. There's a trade down in his mock draft. Has us taking Caden Proctor at 13. And then Yanachur, I think, at number 24, if my memory is correct. To go offensive line with CeCe Maunoa and then Emmanuel McNeil Warren at number 24. Boy, that is different. That is because that's no wide receivers. And then by the second round at 39, what do you got as far as top-end wide receivers? That is a tough sell to the fan base. They might be great players, but, man, they are locked in on a weapon somewhere in this draft. 216-474-0092. All right, what would you think of something like that? And when it comes to the QB competition, in the words of Macho Man Randy Savage, I may not like it, but I have to accept it. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, it's Fat and Thin in the Morning on the Fan.
leads that series 2-0. Don't miss this week's episode of 92.3 The Fan's off-season special. Get the latest on the Browns tonight from 7 to 9. Listen to The Fan and Rewind weeknights 11 to midnight. All the best segments from all our shows. You can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
9:43, the secret ingredient that the Cavaliers need to win an NBA championship. That coming up, but here is Charles Davis when asked about quarterbacks.
I couldn't believe it when I heard it,
beg
Kenny.
your pardon. I apologize.
Believe it because it was crazy to hear a national guy with the voice and the influence of Charles Davis have the following to say.
And here we are.
And when you hear it, I'm just going to tell you right now.
Are you doing this on purpose now? Now his mic's goes. What is going on now in this room? What has happened in the last 30 minutes in this room?
Deshaun Watson has a heck of a chance of being the starter, and I think he's going to be. Now, if you're going to keep him around and give him a fair shot to win it, I think that he's going to win that job. I'm not quite sure what gets accomplished there. Are you going to redo a deal? Like, what if he has a big year? You're going to redo and bring him back and all that. There's so many permutations go into it. I would have moved on myself, but that's just me. I've gone circles here. I don't mean to. I'm going to say Deshaun Watson's going to line up and be the starter on opening day.
At least the computers are working somehow again now. Unbelievable.
I think I'm working too. Wow.
That was Charles Davis with us momentarily. So listen, guys, I may not like it. I have to accept it as long as the right person is making the call. As long as the right guy's making the call on this, I will accept it, and I will hope for the best. Lima, you asked a very diabolical question once, and this is months ago, and I think you did it to keep everybody at bay during Coming In Hot on a Friday. You had a diabolical question on a day I wasn't there, because you will do Coming In Hot when I'm not here. I won't do it without you, because I actually respect you. You don't respect me. He just nods his head because he knows. It was about making the playoffs with Deshaun Watson or winning games with Deshaun Watson. It was something. It was really intricate. Do you remember at all?
It was like win a certain amount of games and barely get into the playoffs.
Yeah, or get the number 1 pick or something like that, I think it was, or the number 2 pick or something crazy.
Probably something like that.
And I said I'd rather go to the playoffs with Deshaun Watson. And that was a while ago. Okay, the reason I remember that and the reason I bring it up, if they go with Deshaun Watson, I don't want Deshaun Watson to be the starter. I have no problem saying that. I want Shador Sanders to be the starter. I think that it's probably a fair chance that both will not be the starter in 2017. Or 2027. 2017 would be a hell of a thing. In 2027. I want Shador to be the starter. I can't force Todd Monken's hand, and I'm not going to sit there and call Todd Monken every word in the book if by the end of training camp or he says he's going to have the decision made to start training camp, by the way. So I don't know if this is going to be the great big long slog that we think it is, by the way, right? Like, he'll have his depth chart on who he thinks is a starting quarterback. So when we get out of OTAs coming up here, like, that could be it. We could end up knowing who the starting quarterback is, and we have to deal with it. So a lot of us are thinking that he might mention it at the beginning of the season. I thought he was saying we would go into training camp, that the training camp was too long, that he would have his depth chart ready to go by the time training camp got here, and OTAs were that important. Isn't that correct? I think that I'm right about that. So OTAs end OTA session 8, June 3rd, mandatory minicamp, June 9th through 11th. So mid-June we should know, right? Mid-June, because training camp starts in late July. If we know by that he ends up picking Deshaun Watson, as long as it's him, and because of this franchise, we can always wonder who actually made the decision. As long as it's him, I may not like it, I have to accept it, because he's doing what he believes is right by the rest of the football team. And I understand that people will be calling and saying that they're not going to watch Deshaun Watson, and we're going to have a lot of people out there, and they're going to say that, they're not paying attention anymore because it ain't Shador Sanders. There's going to be people calling in saying that they should trade Shador or get rid of Shador, give him a chance with a real NFL team, quote unquote. Same conversation some folks were having last year, by the way. They might say that. I'm not giving up on Shador, and I'm not giving up Shador, but I've always wanted the head coach to be able to make these decisions. It should be common sense. If they make a common sense decision, fine, let's see how the shoe fits.
Well, I think not only
Is that so hard?
I think it will be hard for some of those fans who have done everything they can to divorce themselves from any notion that Watson could possibly be the quarterback again, the representative of the Cleveland Browns as a starting quarterback. And I think they might be rooting against the Browns if he starts. I think there is a part of the fan base that would do that. Now, if he looks great, okay, maybe we have a different discussion. Does anybody think he has a chance to look great?
I'm never going to root against him, but, man, I think you're right. I bet there'd be some people going, they don't want their time. Because you have a fair amount of the fan base that believes that this is a total, utter waste of time with Deshaun Watson. And a waste of emotion and a waste of our breath. And I do believe that there will be some who want it to go poorly for Deshaun Watson because that would mean it's just a quicker way to get done with all this. Because I think they can't believe that we're doing this again. I think they can't believe that there's a shot here again. They can't believe, after what Jimmy had said last year about the mistake and all this, that, and the other. There's a lot of people who are surprised. I got to be honest, I'm surprised that we're actually here with it. I thought that on that day when he tore his Achilles, I said that's probably it. You're never going to see him again. And I was pretty sure that we were never going to see him again. And here he is thrown in camp. And I don't think they're going to start him because of money. I think they're going to start him, and I do think that he's the leader in the clubhouse to be the starting quarterback. I think that they would consider it because they have nothing else that they've really invested a great deal in. At the end of all this, Shador has a massive fan base. Shador is still just a fifth-round choice. So it's not the biggest investment in the history of the Browns that they've ever made. And you could turn right around. It's not popular. You could turn right around and say, you shouldn't have played when you had to play last year. You weren't ready. And you could sit there and blame it on Kevin and say, Kevin didn't do a good job of getting you ready. And I think that's probably true, considering that you were thrown to trash cans. So he didn't do a good job of getting you ready. You were thrust into a position that you shouldn't have been in. That was unfair to put you in. So we're going to put Deshaun Watson out there. And then if he does poorly, then we're going to go with you. You need to do everything you can, like you've been doing all offseason, to get prepared to start for this football team. I don't want this to deviate from your work. I understand that this is a blow. Competitors want to compete. You want to start. I understand that, and you should be disappointed. But you can't let this affect your work. You have to continue to do it.
You gotta be a pro.
That's what I could see Todd Monkin doing.
You got to be a pro. You can't play the victim again in year two the way some people in your corner tried to classify you, a fifth-round pick who got 7 starts. That's amazing, by the way. That's not a victim.
It can't all be a conspiracy every year. It can't be that
That's
way.
actually incredible good fortune. That's blessed life, being able to get a chance to start in the NFL that many games. And quite frankly, he didn't play that well. So it's most guys, they go back to the backup or whatever. Let's not forget the reason he got the job. Whether or not we agreed or disagreed about the depth chart, the reason he got the job is because the guy that was in front of him, well, one of them got traded, but the guy in front of him got concussed. Who knows how many games Shador would have got had either of those things not happened. He might not have played the entire year. Maybe the final game of the year he might have played. So I think it's an awesome spot for Shador to be in, to have a chance to win this starting job. And if he doesn't win it, I don't think it's the end of the world. It's a minor setback. He'd be losing out to somebody who has a lot more experience than him, especially adapting to new playbooks. He's had to do it like 8 times in his career. Deshaun Watson, with the amount of offensive coordinators and different coaches he's had. So I think naturally, he's probably on paper going to come up short.
Yeah.
And then he'll get a shot because I don't think Deshaun Watson's good enough to hold down the job for 17 games.
I don't think I won't be screaming at Todd Monkin and saying that he's made a horrific decision. I think a lot of fans will. But I won't, because they will have done something that would be common sense. You let your head coach make the decision. Now, if Deshaun Watson goes out there and he's terrible, and they eventually go to Shador, and Shador looks good, there's serious questions we have to ask of Todd Monkin. Because then you question his judgment about who a good quarterback really is. That would be your first knock on him, and that the honeymoon is over. But it's exactly what you said. You have less that's invested, and it's not like you lost the job. Like, people were upset that he lost the potential to play before Dylan Gabriel. and Dillon Gabriel was a third-round pick, and the only thing I could say on Dillon Gabriel's behalf was that he was a third-round pick, and I just didn't want to be as mean with the conversation as Daryl was and a couple other people were, which, by the way, Daryl was right. Daryl was right. Didn't look like an NFL quarterback, looked afraid to throw the football down the field. His deep balls just floated off into the distance like Mary Poppins. There was very little that would tell you other than he was wearing an NFL uniform that he was an NFL quarterback. And so I think that fans were completely, maybe not completely with some of the things that were alleged, but I think that they were very justified in what are we wasting our time here if we're kicking the tires on quarterbacks. I got a guy that at least shows some flair, some talent. The other guy might be a supercomputer. Maybe he'll be a really good head coach someday, but he's not going to be a great quarterback from a football team. And it seemed yesterday, I mean, we have not talked at all about Dillon Gabriel's media availability. And Mary Kay said not to count him out. I'm sorry. I know she's joining us at 8:20 tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and count him out. I don't think he's going to be here by the time training camp starts, and I'm willing to even double down on it. I think probably we're going to take a quarterback day 3 coming up on Saturday. Because I think Andrew thinks they're all currency. And it's been a bad start for Dillon Gabriel. It's been a bad place to be for Dillon Gabriel. It's been a bad conversation to have. And nothing against Dillon Gabriel. Maybe he just needs a breather with somebody else. Good for him. Nothing against him. Tried, just wasn't the right fit. You can go back and use that as an argument against Kevin Stefanski. And you're right about that. You latched onto that. Bad thing to latch onto. Bad premise. But if you lose the job to a guy who at one point played at an all-pro level, played at an MVP, arguable MVP level, guys, I'm not going to fake an argument that I don't believe in. I'm not going to do it. I don't want him to start. I want Shador to start. Well, I can want a lot of things. I can want so many things, but I got to do what's right by my football team, and I got to do what's common sense for my football team. And ultimately, even though the fans might not want to see it, got to do it. Got to do it. 216-474-0092. Like, that's just where I'm at on that. By the way, did you see the odds that came out with betonline.ag? This just came out during the Charles Davis interview. I wanted to bring it up to you. 3-1 odds, Spencer Fano is taken by the Browns.
3-1? 3-1.
There, he's the leading odds. Then it's Carnell Tate 7-2, Sonny Styles 9-2, CeCe Malinois 15-2, then Jordan Tyson, Monroe Freeling, Caden Proctor, Caleb Downs. This is 6 overall, so maybe they're putting in trades as well. I'm not sure. Maybe I should walk it back on the Browns. It just says the pick overall. It says these odds are fluid to change, that this, that, and the other.
So you're saying someone could trade up to 6 and take Fano?
No, I'm just going by their odds.
It doesn't specify Cleveland Browns, Spencer Fano.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just overall pick.
Just trying to be accurate about it. So Fano's 3-1, Carnell Tate, Sonny Styles, CeCe Malinois, and then Jordan Tyson is the 5th, and then you go down the line. So maybe we've been overthinking it. I don't know. If Carnell Tate's there, don't you just hand in the cards?
Those odds are pretty close too. It's 3.5 to 1 on Carnell Tate.
You should just call it a day and give it to Carnell Tate. If he's there at 6, I got nothing against Fano.
I think more and more, the more I listen to, Tate is going to be there at 6.
Well, and they don't have him listed as the number 1 pick for any of those, like the first choice for any of those picks before them. Picks 2 through 5.
216-474-0092. All right, coming up in 5 minutes, the secret ingredient to the Cavs winning a championship. Lima says he's found it. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
Zagura. Hear from the Browns' first-round picks and the latest from Andrew Berry, Todd Monkin, and more. It all starts at 8 p.m. right here on your radio home for Browns football.
The Cleveland Browns are on the clock.
Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
I want to get to Chuck and Willoughby real quick because he has a better option than Tate at 6 for you. And then I want to hear the secret ingredient that Lima has to the Cavs winning the NBA championship. Chuck and Willoughby, you're first up in the Fan. Yellow.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Not terrible. Chuck, go right on ahead, friend.
Hey, I know Cardell Tate would be sexy. It would be nice, but nobody's talking about the kid out of Oregon, the tight end.
Kenyon Sadiq? Yeah, we talked a hell of a lot about him.
Earlier in the week, I think on Monday, we had a big day on him.
Ryan Wilson's first mock, and then the first time he was on with us right after the season, we were talking about Kenyon Sadiq. Now, we don't talk about him every day, and he's shot up the draft board. Go ahead there, Chuck.
Well, I think it'd be a great weapon with Fannin. You know, I mean, the kid can block. He's super athletic. I think it'd be a great weapon. I think it'd be a different offense. But I think it'd be a great weapon because everybody wants a number one wide receiver.
You're taking him at where, 6 overall?
I think in the trade back you would take him, but I tell you what, I mean
6 overall though.
Well, I mean
everybody wants a trade back. You can't guarantee a trade back. You can guarantee.
Oh, okay.
Right now they have the 6th pick.
Yeah, but I think he would be a better weapon. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, you could do a lot. I mean, it opens up a different conversation. So if I go to Ryan's latest mock, Chuck, thank you very much for the call.
We got into a big one last week because Sal Pal came on the midday show, brought it up, and then we talked about it for a day.
Yeah. See, this is where it makes it tough because I can't guarantee any of these teams are going to trade up. So there's a lot of people like, well, we trade back and then we take a guy like Kenyon Sadiq. I'm just using him as an example. I think just because he has tight end next to his name, people are going, Murr, because you already have Harold Fannin. You can do a lot of things with him. You can overload the Y. There's so many things that you could do that I don't think you could do with a traditional tight end. And I think he's almost like a Jimmy Graham type pass catcher instead of a tight end for you. And if you trade it back, that would be a better conversation to have. But I can only go by what I have. So Owen's right. Like if I'm stuck at 6 and I ain't moving anywhere, and I'm believing that they're going to be stuck, unless something crazy happens in the first 5 picks. Who's going to really move up for a non-quarterback? Who has to have him?
I think the only one that people keep coming back to is Jeremiah Love.
And
the Rams have been a team that I continue to see mentioned because they just do not care about their draft picks.
Okay, but then we're going back to where with the Rams if they were to move up?
If you look at, we mentioned that BetOnline AG, right now the 4th pick overall says Jeremiah Love. 5th pick says Jordan Tyson. They have him before Carnell Tate.
There's a lot of stuff here. They got 13th overall. Like maybe you would move back to 13, then we'd have that conversation about Kenyon Sadiq. But at number 6, I'm going to take Carnell Tate. I'm going to be happy with it. That's where I'm going to be on that. Where he has Caleb Lamu going at 6,
but even
Ryan
then,
Wilson does.
If you traded back into that 10 through 13 zone somewhere in there, wouldn't you want to get one of those linemen now? Wouldn't you think the value is?
You have to, because everybody keeps saying that run is going to happen big time from picks like 12 to 20, whatever.
Yeah.
They said there could be like 6 linemen taken there.
And you want to be the first, and you want to have the pick.
You cannot be last.
Yeah.
So if I go just by this, before pick 13, you got Carnell Tate off the board, Jordan Tyson off the board, Mekhi Lemon off the board. I'm just looking at his latest one. You could take Omar Cooper at 16. You could do that. You could take KC Concepcion at 16, but he also has us taking him at 24. So there is some value there, but maybe I'd rather go with the offensive line like Owen says. You, Tone, say you have the secret ingredient to the Cavs winning the title.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Amazingly enough, you probably went to bed early last night. By the way, amazing day for Cleveland sports yesterday, because not only did you have the Guardians winning the way they did, right after that, the Celtics lost and looked abysmal,
yes,
and Boston fans are panicking. As they've given up home court advantage, their roster is nowhere near as good as their prior teams over the last however many years. But that wasn't all, because later in the evening, not only did you see Victor Wembanyama get injured and suffer a concussion, it was grisly. After that, the Lakers won again against the Houston Rockets. They were underdogs in the series. They're doing it without Luka and Reeves, and LeBron James has been the best player in the series. He's been amazing. At how old is LeBron?
41.
Dropping 28 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. This is insanity what he is doing, and it just is so obvious to me. Like, that is the one thing the Cavs are missing from this team, is somebody who can play the wing or small forward and dominate physically the way he does. They are missing that. If they had LeBron James on this team, I'd say they could win the championship. LeBron has been a freak show. I got a number for you. This is pretty crazy. Michael Jordan had 73 games in the playoffs of 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. Do you know how many LeBron had?
How many?
He's up to 75.
That's a lot.
Before the age of 30. After the age of 30, he has another 80.
If you're LeBron, though,
did you just hear what I said?
Can I just be?
Hold on, Kenny.
I know
you didn't give it its just due.
Well, I will lay back.
He's 2 Michael Jordans in the playoffs. He's 2 Michael Jordans. Do you guys understand the career that LeBron James is putting together and adding and adding and adding and adding, and wherever he's going to play next year, he'll be adding again because he's only going to go to a good team next year. Maybe he just stays with the Lakers.
John was just willing to say that LeBron was better than Michael, by the way.
We had a
24.
convert
in
the room, somebody from Philadelphia.
Because of last night. That's how big a performance it was. Can I just pour cold water on it?
Go ahead.
Who you trading? He's got to take the minimum contract. And I don't know, buddy. The better they do with the Lakers, maybe he and G.D. Buss just let bygones be bygones,
and
he just stays with the Lakers and Luka.
How could you turn the page on this?
That's what I'm pointing out, guys. Like, he is showing you what he's still capable of doing in the postseason. And you got Luka Doncic there, arguably the best player in the NBA. You got a lot of people getting excited. Bring them on, bring them on, bring them on. And yeah, if you go out and you lose to the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, probably a lot of people are going to be saying it because there's going to be needs that you have. But the better they do, like, you got to hope that the Lakers end up getting smoked in the back half of this series or in the second round of the playoffs here. That's the only way you go with it, because if the longer they go in the Western Conference, which is the tougher conference, the further they go, the more likely it would be that he would stay with the Lakers. Unless he has Jeannie Buss officially sold everything yet? The article still didn't look good.
I don't know. I did hear from Jay Moore that they are married. And Jay Moore, the comedian, in a lot of movies and a lot of shows on Saturday Night Live back in the day, they do not sleep together.
What does that have to do with anything? I need to know about LeBron, not
they
about...
Have separate apartments.
They have separate apartments in the same home. They are married. He is a billionaire now because of Jeannie Buss.
That doesn't have anything to do with LeBron.
Jay Moore, he's got a great podcast,
That doesn't have anything to do with LeBron. All you just said was that he doesn't sleep with his wife.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
I just wanted to see what people thought about that. They're married. He's now a billionaire, and he doesn't even have to sleep together every night.
You got to go to bed together.
How many guys would take that right now? I get to be married to a billionaire, and I get to kind of have my own situation going at the house. Just sign up for that. 216.
Well, you don't get a harem around you over there.
474-00.
Let them know your answer.
I'd love to hear Phelps take a whack at that answer.
I'd love to know.
We're back tomorrow, 6 to 10. Mary Kay, 8:20. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Go Guardians!
You're not booing, but you clap.
Hey, sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Oh, boy!
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.